Hello there. Welcome back to the Random Show, episode number, what is it? 41. 41 of the Random Show. I hope you are good wherever this may find you. It's been a long time coming. There's been many false starts, many false dawns. I said it was happening, then it didn't happen. I said it was happening again, then it didn't happen again. And it's been absolutely all over the shop. But I hope you can forgive me. I hope you can forgive me for my tardiness. You know? Hope you can forgive me. This is what I'm gonna do, the DSP prayer hands. This is what it is. DSP prayer hands for the forgiveness. Because we need a little bit out here, you know what I mean? But yeah, big up everybody. Steaming through. Hope you guys are well, hope you guys are up and here ready to stream. We're gonna be having a little bit of fun today. There's not much to really report on. I think that's why I've been, not really doing this stuff, because I think there's not much to kind of report on. It's kind of a bit cold and dead in the whole comedy scene. I think everyone's sort of like on their best behavior now. They don't want to embarrass themselves and have people like myself and other content creators making videos that get hundreds of thousands of views of them making dumb mistakes. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. So most of them are kind of being on their best behavior. So that's been a funny thing to see. But yeah, big up everybody in the chat. Big up Raymond Pest, big up Michael Jamal, big up the Robot, big up Nick, big up Mad Solar, big up Provern 187, big up all of you guys. I do apologize for my tardiness, man. I know. I've been away, man. I've been away living life in it, getting getting sloshed. That's what I've been doing, brother. I've been away living life, getting sloshed, recovering, going gym, doing all that madness in it. So yeah, this stream is in aid actually because I'm going there in a couple of days. I'm actually going to Berlin over the weekend. So if you enjoy the stream and you like what you hear, you like what you see, and you want to contribute to the old Berlin fund, as you can see there for the beer fund, you know what to do. Click all the little donation things and stuff. There's a Streamlab links, I think, in the description of the YouTube video. Should be in the description. There's like a Streamlab things if you want to tip that way. If you want to just send something through Cash App, my link is on there via the chat. You can do that. If you want to send a super chat, you can send that. If you don't want to send nothing, you just want to tune in and you want to admire my cut of my jib and just ignore the stream, then I'm more than happy for you to do that too. Just make sure you smash the like if you like what you see. If you don't, downvote it. That's also cool. If you unsubscribe, you can subscribe at the end of it if you feel like what I'm saying to you is of any sort of value or entertainment. And as you can see, we're ready for war. Today we're ready for war because I haven't done this in a while. I haven't been on here for streaming, for a long time. So we're ready for war. That's why I got the camera on. I'm sweating. The BO is fucking incredible, but I'm doing this for you. All right, I'm doing this things for you. So yeah, let's go, man. Provo said, "I'll fund your pills, not your beer, bruv. I'll take it, bruv. You know what I might do actually? I might do a pill stream when I get there because I'm gonna take these headphones with me on my laptop, so I'll probably be able to stream out there too when I'm get there. So that'll be fun. But just as a way to make sure that all of you guys know how sorry I am for not following through on my promise to stream when I was meant to stream that time, I'm gonna play something for you as a way to kind of make sure you guys are aware that I'm absolutely caught up and burnt up that I wasn't able to stream when I said I was going to be able to stream. So this is my apology to you guys on the stream, watching this live, watching this after the fact. I'm sorry. Apology to the stream for not being able to stream when I said I was going to stream. Hope you guys have accepted my sorry. Okay? Stream chat, I'm sorry. Oh mate, if only those things worked in real life. Is that like if only those actually had any kind of bearing on whether or not you get a reduced sentence or they're a bit lenient on what you end up doing. If only that thing actually worked. If bloody only. But anyway, let's jump into it. Many things to talk about. I don't want to waste all of your time. I want to make sure I'm respectful of your time because, as per usual, I'm sure most of you would have better things to do today than to be sitting here watching the cut of my jib talk absolute crap. So we're going to roll into it and we're going to smash into it and we're going to do the damn thing and we're going to prepare. And then, we're going to keep it moving, innit? We're going to keep it moving. So, first thing to get into, number one, I wanted to talk about, because I thought like this is something that's exciting in my world, because this is something that I'm kind of obsessed with on the sly. I check loads of flipping detractor channels. I'm always checking other people's content about it. I'm on the Discords, I'm on the flipping Reddits and whatnot. I'm engaged, and that is concerning the community of trolls around Geordie Jordan, aka Wings of Redemption. And today there's been a big development for those people who are fans of his or like to take the piss out of him and laugh at him from afar. He has been permanently banned from streaming on Twitch. And it's hilarious why he got banned on there, because if I'm not mistaken, um, he was obviously, he's been harassed from trolls for ages, but effectively he was trying to do a little bit of a game where he was trying to evade copyright strikes by setting up a Twitch channel, no, by basically by deleting videos on his YouTube account when he streamed, so there was no copyright strike thing. Then he tried to go back on Twitch and do a bit of streaming on there, but of course Twitch is known for being really stingy on their rules and stuff, so they absolutely told him to go and skedazzle. And then I guess when he when he got a little ban on Twitch, they do these 7-day bans. Sometimes it's 14 days. I forgot how long they do them, but they're usually days in terms of how long you cannot stream. And for whatever reason, he's such a dummy. He decided that he couldn't wait for the ban just to kind of be over. Like, he had to stream so desperately, I guess, because it's his only means of income. I guess that probably explains why he did it. And he tried to stream on his wife's Twitch account, which then basically fell under the stipulation of him evading a ban because he's using the same IP address, I'm assuming, to stream on that account, even though it's a separate account. And now he's been suspended completely. And he's posted a Twitter update here saying, "Really? How was I ban invading? Question mark. I had nothing to do with my wife's channel. There wasn't even a stream done on it yet." So at Twitch support. So clearly here Twitch support basically laid out the law and said, because he tried to evade the ban by setting up another account, that he was obviously trying to break the rules, and now they got a account suspension, evasion, where it's on your channel, suspension left indefinite ban on his channel, indefinite ban on his channel. Now I'm thinking to myself, if this was a normal person, they'll just give up on streaming, because the hassle, and because all these people are people that kind of come after him, right? Mr. Yellow Dick Swagger, Wings 007, the hassle he gets from trolls is just too much. Like, it's become a sport now to try your best to kind of get a rye from Wings of Redemption, to really piss him off, right? To really press his buttons. It's become a bit of a sport. And I feel like they're all kind of competing to see who can do it the best. So at this point, there's no rationalizing with these people. So if it was me, I would just tuck my tail behind, between my legs, sorry, and just go and get a normal job, or at least maybe go get a job to supplement my income that I make on stream, but not to have a complete streaming career anymore, because it's just not viable for him. Because at every turn, these guys are always going to try to basically fuck him over, because they just don't like him as a person. And clearly he doesn't get that, which is, whatever it may be, because he's just putting it to rest here. He's saying that how this Twitch ban isn't valid, and once a human looks at it, it'll win the appeal. Another Twitch update here, Twitter update here, sorry, from Wings says, "Let's put the rumors to rest. Kelly's donation link is Streamlabs. I use Stream Elements. Also, nobody made an account. All Kelly did was change her name from Fantasia Life to Mrs. Wings Redemption and things. This is all that happened. I had nothing to do with any of it." So clearly he's not accepting any responsibility from it and stuff. But I don't know, man. I just want to know, why is it that most of these locals feel as if they're like entitled or deserving of a streaming career forever? They legitimately feel like this gravy train never ends. I don't understand why. Why don't they have it in their heads that, in the same way that, once upon a time, Instagram was one of the number one social media platforms out there. Once upon a time, people used to use, what's that streaming platform that you use on Twitter? Sorry, I forgot which one it was. But every, I don't know, every decade or so, there's a new app that comes around, a new platform, a new whatever that that kind of, blows the other one out of the water. So there's no reason to think that YouTube will last forever, that Twitch will last forever, all these things will last forever. So why are they legitimately so against just removing themselves from the internet and getting a normal job? Well, not even remove themselves from the internet, because I guess the fame is a lot, right, to deal with, or to kind of walk away from. But at least try to get some sort of level of a normal job. Like, why can't they do that? I don't understand it. Like, why can't Wings really figure out by this point, throughout his entire 10 plus career, online, people have legitimately hated his guts for valid and invalid reasons. But regardless, it's now got to be, like I said, it's become a sport now. People are competing to see how they can destroy his life, to the point where I don't think it's ever going to get any better. Even if he sits there and apologizes for everything, acknowledges his mistakes, accepts responsibility, blah blah blah, it's never going to change. They legitimately don't like the guy. So if that's the case, just back away from it and just do other things. It's not that deep. But for whatever reason, these guys seem incapable of doing so. It's just really bizarre to me. I really don't understand it. And Wings is more so in the case of Wings, because I think DSP is quite lucky. He doesn't really have the same level of trolls that Wings have for whatever reason. Although I do think that DSP is far more deserving of the harassment that Wings gets. Also, I really do think so. I think if anyone deserves their channel to get completely nuked, it would definitely be DSP if that was to happen. Of course, I'm not going to condone that. Mama Susan, don't come after me. But I'm just saying, if there was a more deserving person for that kind of level of abuse and stuff, it would definitely be DSP. But regardless, Wings of Redemption has been perma banned from Twitch. He's obviously going to appeal it. He's still, I think, able to stream on YouTube, but he doesn't want to because he wants to not give the trolls an opportunity to essentially copyright strike his account again, because I think he's got 2 copyright strikes on YouTube. One more and his channel gets completely nuked. So he's trying to basically wait out the copyright strike date, the copyright strike on his account, which I think is 90 days or 60. I forgot which one it is. And then he's going to try and stream again. Now, somebody with a bit of foresight and willingness to kind of work and kind of hustle would obviously appeal the copyright strike and not just sit there and wait the 90 days. But Wings of Redemption is one of the laziest people ever to walk on the face of the earth, so he's not going to do that. But that would be probably the best thing to do. But yeah, absolutely crazy. This guy's whole entire livelihood is like on the line because he decides to basically have his look after his entire family off of the salary that he gets from streaming. And then he's a very divisive character. People don't like him. They go out their way to try and destroy his life, and he doesn't have any other options to make money outside of streaming. It looks like he doesn't want to explore them. It's just a really bizarre corner to put yourself in. Doesn't really make any sense. And it's weird too, because these guys have been around forever. Do you know what I mean? And they don't necessarily figure out an exit plan. There's no idea, like, I don't know. Even me, someone who's I enjoy this sort of stuff, even I don't think this is going to last forever. You just do it for a period of time. You make some money to supplement your lifestyle, like I'm doing now. You're raising money for flipping to buy beers and stuff. I don't know, whatever you're doing it for. But you're not exactly doing it in the idea that this is going to be your one and only thing forever. You do it as maybe as a platform to do other things. As there's a picture here I'm seeing of the Paul brothers. They've probably done it the best in recent years, right? Using the notoriety they've got from streaming to kind of venture into other things they want to explore. But I don't know. I guess if you're local, you don't really, if you're local, it's kind of hard to expect them to have good business acumen, because part of the reason why they're locals is because they have no fucking brains. Absolutely no bloody brains. So big up Wings of Redemption. Hopefully he figures it out and he wins his appeal, because to be honest, as much as I enjoy laughing at him and his redacted ways, I don't want to see the guy desolate, because I don't think he has the, to put it like kindly, I don't think he has the necessary grit to kind of go through dark times. I feel like if it gets really dark and he's got no option to stream, he could get really bleak for him, and I don't want it to happen. Do you know what I mean? I really don't want it to happen. Like, the guy looks like he's a little bit emotionally vulnerable. He's susceptible, obviously, to bouts of mood swings and depression and stuff. You know what I mean? It can get really dark really quickly. So I would actually like for him to get his channel back and whatnot. But I would also like for him to kind of think of a way that he can make some money outside of streaming, so that he's not so dependent on streaming if it does get taken away from him. Do you know what I mean? But what do I know, innit? Man's not his father. Next thing I wanted to quickly talk about, because I haven't been around for a while, is this. What's happening in America, man? Well, one for you American people. What the fuck is going on in America? Can someone tell me what is happening over there? Is it because it's too warm? Is this generally a thing that happens anyway? What is the situation over there in the States, where for some reason you guys have a very adversarial relationship with people who make food for you, or with people who cut your hair, or people who serve your drinks? What is it over there in the States? Why do I see so many videos of people arguing with people in Dave and Buster's and Wendy's, in all these different places, in the McDonald's and the KFC and the Taco Bell? What's up with in bars? Especially when there's videos of people fighting in like the streets of like Austin, I think it is. Why are you guys always arguing and fighting with people who make your food? And this is a headline that's absolutely redacted. NYC McDonald's worker shot over cold fries, police say. Cold fries he got shot over. Is that anything to get shot over, really? Let's be honest. There's many things that you should be getting shot over, right? Maybe if you if you get to like a chicken restaurant and like you order, I don't know, 6 hot wings and they give you 2 pieces of chicken instead, that's something to fight over, right? You wanted mayo in your burger and not ketchup, that's something to fight over, which is sick to do it. If you put mayo in your burger, you're an absolute sicko. But there's some things that you should be fighting over. I don't know, they forgot your fries, fair enough, fight over it. But somebody giving you cold fries shouldn't be a worthy option to fight or even to pull out a gun. That's just a quick way to deal with it, just to be like, hey, my fries are cold, can you give me a new one, please? Like, it's all it takes. It's just an easy conversation. But for whatever reason in the States, it's always like an affront. When you get bad service, it feels like, for some reason, you Americans feel like it's a personal attack. Like the person did it to you. It's like, no, they could have just forgot. Or they could just be like thinking about other things. Like, come on, man. Anyway, it continues. A fight over cold fries led to the shooting of a Brooklyn McDonald's worker who is now fighting for his life, a high-ranking police officer said on Tuesday. The 23-year-old victim was working at the fast food joint in 141 Fulton Street in Bedford. Actually, you know what? Fulton, if I'm not mistaken, is that the place that Deans and Mira talk about all the time on their podcast? Or when they used to do the podcast together? Fulton. Is that the hood? That might explain why the kid got shot then, right? Because they always mention Fulton. I hear it mentioned a lot on New York-based podcast media type stuff. So maybe that's the reason. The woman was FaceTiming her 20-year-old son during the argument, and the son soon stormed into the restaurant and began fighting with the employee, the source alleged. Imagine being on the phone to your mum and you get into such a mood that you want to fight somebody. I can't imagine it, because when you're talking to your mum, you're usually on like cute time. You're usually on like softy time. You're not usually on like go time, ready to fight somebody. Do you know what I mean? The mum complained that her fries were cold. The mum was on FaceTime with her son, and he heard the dispute between her and the clerk. The son and the clerk got into a dispute inside, and it went outside. That's when the woman's son allegedly whipped out a gun and blasted the worker in the neck. I shouldn't be laughing. Sorry, it's just it's like a reflex I do when I've read something distressing. That is fucking wild. Shooting somebody in the neck because they gave you cold fries. Obviously, that's a kid down the floor. Thank God that they blurred out the flipping image. The 24-year-old work, fucking hell. I feel like crying. You shot someone over French fries, said the witness who owns a local business. Another victim said the co-workers were around the victim. They were on their phones and they were crying. A man took off his shirt and put it on the neck to stop the bleeding. The victim's right eye was swollen shut. Jesus Christ. So somehow you get shot in the neck and your eye gets swollen. Did that cut off a nerve or something? Oh, fucking hell. He couldn't talk, the witness said. Oh, the tragic employee. He was just shaking. His chest was heavy. He was still breathing, but then when they put him on the stretcher, the victim remained in extremely critical condition. His distraught family and friends wept and consoled each other on the steps of the hospital emergency room. He's a good guy, said the co-worker of the sports. The employee said cut security in June. We don't know why. They don't tell us anything. So yeah, obviously this is a bad look on McDonald's or whoever owns that franchise, because they cut the security. Because I guess it was just too much money. And then as soon as they cut the security, 2 months later, a kid gets shot in the neck. A single 9mm spent casing was recovered at the scene, and a suspected shooter has been taken to custody. Police have said charges have yet to be filed. But unfortunately, and small update on this, the kid died, man. The kid fucking died. Imagine that, man. Working a shitty McDonald's job for the only purpose of working those jobs is to get some money. That's the only reason you're working it. You're not really, the majority of people that do those kind of jobs aren't doing it to climb up the corporate ladder. I know, because I've worked in shitty bowling alleys where you basically serve people chicken nuggets and shit and hot dogs. So it's kind of the equivalent of doing this sort of stuff. So you do it only to maybe be in between jobs, if you like got fired or something, or got made redundant, or you were moving, or you're trying to progress your career and you're applying for other roles. So they're just menial jobs. They're not jobs you should ever take seriously. You can jump between them from time to time. You can get fired at one, go to another. It just doesn't really matter that much. And then to get shot over fries is just. It's just, oh, John Vallis is saying Fulton is where Biggie is from. Okay, cool, awesome. I knew I recognized Fulton, the name of it's from somewhere. But yeah, the worker has passed away, man. Absolutely heinous. It says here, Matthew Webb, 23, succumbed to his injuries after he was shot Monday morning outside of the Bedford, whatever that name is, fast food restaurant where he worked. The attack has been deemed a homicide. The investigation remains ongoing. Michael Morgan, 20 years old, again, throwing your life away over fries. Imagine, in prison, right? When they do that thing about reading your jacket or reading your papers or what you were in there for, and they have to ascertain if you're a snitch or if you're a kiddie fiddler or something, or you rape somebody. Imagine they reading through your flipping docket, and they're flipping reading through your charges, and you're in for murder because somebody. I guess it won't say why you killed a person. It will just say murder, but. Imagine word gets back to people in the jail that you're in or the prison that you're in there for flipping shooting somebody over cold fries. 20 years of age. It's one thing if you fought the person with your bare hands, right? And in the acts of fighting them, you actually killed them by accident because you punched them too hard and hit them on the floor. But like shooting somebody is some pushy shit anyway, because you're shooting them, you're not fighting them. Anyone could do that. And also it's cold fries. Like, get that through your head. Cold fries. Michael Morgan's already been charged with attempted murder and criminal possession of a loaded firearm. Oh yeah, shit, it's New York, innit? You're not allowed to have a gun anyway. For blast web and anger, it's his mum getting served cold fries. Oh, okay, now I get what happened. So him and the mum are arguing. Oh no, he goes in there and he's with his mum, and I guess his mum is amping him up by, oh, how dare you? You can't talk to my son like that. I guess, and then somehow in that argument. That happens. Fuck. Oh no! What? Okay, what about to say? He's expected to upgrade homicide charges. Prosecutors told the court hearings on Thursday, even before the Webb's family was confirmed. But yeah, thoughts and prayers out to flipping Matthew Webb's family and everybody connected with him. This must be a really trying time. Your family member passing away for flipping cold fries is flipping heinous. I hate everything about it. And I really want to know for my viewers out there who are in New York or in America, please explain to me what's going on out there. Is this a flipping consequence of like post-pandemic blues? Like the economy is all fucked up, inflation, people don't have jobs and whatnot, and people are just on edge. Is it the heat? Like, what's happening in the States right now? What's going on? Why are you guys so flipping aggressive when it comes to people who work in service industry jobs, like shitty jobs on nominal amounts of money per hour? You really should have more sympathy, especially if you worked there before. I know I have. I've worked in retail. I've worked in bars. I've worked in restaurants. What is it, man? What is it? That's just NY, my guy. Okay, cool. People said that's just NY. Well, imagine being that kind of mum that amps up your son to be the point where he shoots someone. Exactly. That's what I think happened, Kablu. I definitely think the mum added to it. Like, how dare he? What the fuck? What? No way. Or maybe they have a beef with that particular McDonald's in their area. Or they always fucking over my order. I was there yesterday and they didn't. Mo, you're a cunt. A shortage of chicken tingers. I love how my chat's always fucking roasting me. It's good. I like this relationship. Do you know what I mean? Every time I try and get serious, my chat kind of reminds me of who I am and what I am. Thank you. I appreciate it. What people saying, make patches. Kabu saying, I just came in. This is so sad. Dax Charik said, what the fuck to your glasses? Looks like you joined the biker gang. Oh, sorry, I didn't explain the glasses. Sorry, I'm just testing out new glasses. These are some other ones I got as well. I'm probably going to put my white ones back on again because I don't think people enjoy these glasses too tough. They're a little bit too trendy. Or maybe make me look... I look a little bit all lives matter with these glasses on, innit? It's giving all lives matter. It's giving listen to both sides. It's giving... the cops also have a bad job, right? That's what it's giving, right? It's giving, why was she wearing a short skirt? That's what it's giving, right? It's giving men should be out there working, women should be in the kitchen. It's giving that kind of vibes, isn't it? So I probably have to make sure I kind of change it, man. I really have to make sure I change it. What are people saying here? I finally made a live chat after all this time. Big up Ags, London all the way from Thailand. Oh, big up Naughty Nomad. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Big up you. Bobby Lee is trans now. Someone's saying here. King Getty is saying the gangsterism culture. It's gangsterism culture. I don't think it's gangsterism. Don't think this is a gangsterism issue. This must just be an issue of just like some people are saying. Maybe it's just in New York because it's just the feelings come back there. Maybe it's just again the lack of employment, the lack of prospects. Maybe it's just the relationship the people have there with service workers. I don't really know what's happening, but regardless, it's horrible. Anyway, in more horrible news, we have this. Obviously, I'm sure most of you are aware of this news. This is courtesy of Los Angeles Times, and the headline reads as follows: Mercedes driver charged with murder in crash that killed 5 in Windsor Hills. Now, most of you know, I think I've seen the video of a car. I think it's from a petrol station. There's a CCTV camera pointing out towards a junction, and all you see is this car going crazy speeds, just bursting through that intersection. And for whatever reason, it hits loads of cars and they all explode. Like whatever cars it hits or it kind of hits onto, they all explode, they get crushed into the side, whatever it may be. And then that's it goes quiet. And then soon after, we found out that many people died. I think at the time I read it was 6, now they're saying it's 5. But the most distressing one I remember reading was a whole family in one car got wiped away. So it was a boyfriend, it was the girlfriend who was pregnant, and it was one of their kids. So I guess that makes up for 4. Passed away on the spot. And I think one of the eyewitnesses who was there filling up her car, when the crash happened, she was filling up her car. I guess the junction is some distance away from the petrol station, let's say 100 meters. And when the crash happened, all she saw was a baby flying through the air, and it landed bang right next to the petrol station. So the baby flew like 100 meters into the air, was flipping, what's that thing called, burst out of the car, flung out of the car, and hit on the ground, whatever. And people try to administer, first aid or whatever, maybe, or CPR, but clearly, falling from that kind of height with that impact beforehand, that baby had no chance. So, and again, a mother to be with a baby on the way in the oven, a boyfriend, and I think if not mistaken, they were actually on their way to have a checkup, like what you do when women are pregnant. They're going to get whatever checkup needs to be done, and they're going to then come straight back home, and then bang, that happened, and they all flipping pass away. And this absolute donut of a woman was supposedly having an argument with her boyfriend, to the point where she started drinking and driving, and basically wanting to not live, and driving really fast, and wanting to kill herself. But then in an effort to kill herself, she ended up killing 5 people, and she ended up surviving with minimal injuries, which is always the most annoying thing about these stories. Like, why do the drink drivers always end up surviving and the victims they hit always end up perishing? It's so fucking unfair. The only thing that's really satisfying about it is that the US have really harsh how do you pronounce that? Vehicular manslaughter charges that they can bring against people. I've seen a lot of cases of people who kill someone with their car, and they spend a lot of time in prison. Obviously there's the cases like the Caitlyn Jenner stuff where she was able to kind of walk away free from that, which I still don't understand. But for the most part, if you do get into a car crash that kills somebody in the States, you can go in for a very, very long time. So that's the only satisfying thing about it, man. But what an absolute selfish bitch, honestly. This is somebody you should be calling a selfish bitch. Or you should be happy to call a bitch without having any sort of what's that thing called? Without putting any sort of cap on it. This is definitely a bitch. And it says as follows: a registered nurse was charged on Monday with 6 counts of murder and 5 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter in connection with a fiery crash in Windsor Hills last week that killed a pregnant woman, a baby, and 3 other adults. The Los Angeles County District Attorney announced. Nicole Lorraine Linton, 37, is accused of reckless disregard for life in connection with the Thursday's multi-vehicle crash. Prosecutors say the Los Angeles woman who's behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz that was speeding at fast as 90 miles per hour. If you see the intersection, it's a class standard intersection. To be going at that kind of speed with that kind of, on that sort of busy intersection, given as well how busy LA streets are in general, is legitimately insane. She was speeding as fast as 90 miles per hour when she ran the red light shortly after 1:30 p.m. and plowed into traffic in a busy intersection of La Brea and Slauson Avenue. Los Angeles and County District Attorney George Gascon said Linton faces up to life in prison if convicted for charges. I hope she gets life. I hope she gets more than life, to be honest. Hope she has a horrible time in prison as well. In an instant, Miss Linton's conduct took the lives of 6 people and injured many people. To get the second-degree murder conviction, prosecutors must prove she acted with implied malice and knew the act of driving at high speed at city streets was dangerous to human life. Usually such cases are brought to a driver is under the influence and or has a prior DUI conviction and has taken DUI classes. California Highway Patrol investigation identified... oh my God. No way. She was involved in 13 prior crashes. Are you insane? 13. Now, don't get me wrong. Crashes could mean a lot of things. It could mean she backed into somebody on the street. What else? It could mean... what else could it mean? It could mean a lot of things, right? Do you know what I mean? It could mean a lot of things. But 13 crashes is a lot. 13, man. And her license wasn't revoked or anything. Like, what the hell is happening over there, man? God almighty. Yo, big up somebody who donated via the super chat.
Welcome back.
Okay, thanks for the pronunciation. Vehicular. Okay, so thank you so much for the pronunciation help there. Vehicular. 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 Thank you so much, John Valdez, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. Yeah, but 13 prior crashes is wild. However, Gascon said that there's no evidence of any alcohol use. Oh, that's why she's been saved. That's even more. That's even worse, you know. I'd actually prefer if she was blasted, like off her face, like on drugs and alcohol, and then this happened. If you're telling me she was stone cold sober, tried to kill herself, but ended up killing other people, I got no time for this. It continues. I know that some of you spoke to a woman that alleged they have been drinking together. The CSP is working to identify this person, but we don't have any information. The district attorney declined to discuss. Oh, that's because one of her friends was on the news, isn't it, right? Like, I think one of her friends was one that basically gave people the insight that she was maybe arguing with her boyfriend because the friend went on the news and basically said, yeah, she was at someone's house beforehand, basically complaining about the boyfriend and drinking with them, and then she left in the car. If you have friends that allow you to leave their home drunk, they're not really your friends either, to be honest. The district attorney declined to discuss what prompted the crash, saying it was still under investigation and he was not going to get into the details. The murder charges against Linton are for the deaths of 23-year-old Asheray Ryan, her nearly 1-year-old child Alonzo Quintero. Oh my God. Her boyfriend Reynold Lester and their unborn child. Ryan was 8.5 months pregnant, just on the way to give birth when she was killed. The boy she was carrying at the time was named Armani Lester, according to the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office. His date of birth and death fell on the same day. Yo. That is some scary shit. A young family was destroyed in the blink of an eye, says Gascon. Linton was also charged with murder for the deaths of the 2 women killed in a crash who have yet to be identified. The 5 counts of vehicular manslaughter against her and for the deaths of the 4 other adults and the baby who was nearly 2 weeks shy of 1-year-old. Ryan's unborn child cannot be included into those charges. Okay, cool, because it was unborn. But yeah, R.I.P. to all the victims of that flipping horrible crash. Hope this lady burns in hell. Hope she gets buried under the prison. Absolute heinous crime. Selfish to the extreme. I don't know. Some people say suicide is selfish. I don't necessarily agree with that. You know, I'm not necessarily one of people that agree with those kind of things. But if you are going to off yourself in it to the point where it doesn't impact anybody else in terms of the act of doing it. Of course, it's still going to impact your family and friends, but do so in a way that no other, you know what I mean? So you're not flipping, I don't know, like have some compassion for the people around you that may have to witness that. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Whatever, man. Whatever. I'll move on. Anyway, what are you guys saying in the chat? Can she get in a car without a breathalyzer? She can be, yeah, probably, Kablu. Can she get into a car without a breathalyzer? I'm not really too sure. The robot, she should be an Uber driver in her spare time. This is so much worse. Exactly. Eddie D says the court said she tested negative for being under the influence, which is honestly insane. That makes it worse. The fact that she wasn't drunk or high makes it worse. It really does make it worse. Because if you're drunk or high, I can allow you for being emotional, your emotions being heightened, your decision making process or your way to rationalize things being diminished, whatever it may be. But being sober, the court said she was the big up says Jimmy Heart's Purple Rain. Big up you too, Jimmy. Sticks and Stones says kid was born to die. Sad shit, exactly. The robot says all the people she killed and drove off. Raven says selfish. 13 accidents that were reported. Yeah. Exactly that were reported. Exactly the robot. 13 that were reported and still her flipping. Do you guys in the States have points here? I'm not sure if you're the same. We have the same. We have it in the UK, right? We have points. So I think I don't drive, but I think we have a point total, and if you get into some sort of issue or a wreck or you get pulled over by the police and you get convicted or whatever it may be, they take off points to the point where if you get to a certain level of points, it's a suspension or whatever it may be. Do you have that same thing in the States? Where do you have that? Is that a thing of points? Yeah, okay, cool. Why doesn't that get occurred into crashes? Or can you just keep crashing into people and just keep driving? But I guess she could also be driving without a license also, innit? That doesn't mean, you can't have a car. She'll never drive again even if she gets out. Okay, cool. Thank God, man, because she's, number one, clearly a terrible driver. Like, clearly. Like, to do this sober is horrible, and also to be in 13 crashes is also horrible, especially at her age. She's only 37 years old. It's like, it's insane. But anyway, we continue. As I think a lot of people here drive with suspended licenses. Okay, cool. Kablu saying, yeah, we have them in the US, but some states have after DUIs, flat out take your license, but they are consistent. Okay, cool. Or maybe you should meant to say I'm not consistent. I'm not sure, but yeah, I get what you guys mean. I guess the same like here in the UK, and a lot of people here drive without any licenses at all. So I get it makes a lot. I guess a lot of people can just kind of do what they want if need be in that kind of case. So, let's move on to this one. Let's move on to. Let's jump into this. There's loads of. I can't talk. Actually, you know what? Every time I say I can't talk, the first thing I think of is that video. Actually, I'm gonna play it in a minute. I had to revisit that video, man. I can't talk. Them crying when Crystalia got found out to be a diddler. Honestly, I need to replay that video. I'm actually gonna replay it now in a minute. That video is fucking legendary. I can't talk. Imagine crying because your friend got flipping accused of being a diddler. Honestly, I swear to God, if I had a friend, like an actual friend of mine who was accused of touching kids, my first thing wouldn't be to cry for them. It would be like shock, like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody that I know could do something so heinous, so horrible, so evil. And then the immediate thing I'll be thinking is like, why didn't I catch that? Like, I'll be like in shock, but my first emotion wouldn't be to cry. Do you know what I mean? It would be like shock. I would be maybe distraught. I'd maybe be sad. What's Kabi saying? I sell insurance and there are so many unlicensed drivers for. Okay, cool. Okay, good to know. There are actually, yeah, we have the same thing here in the UK, especially the part of London that I live in. There's a lot of people from a certain community. I'm not going to name the community. I don't want to get banned. That don't really believe in licenses and they just drive. They just, inshallah driving. That might give you an insight into who it may be, but yeah, they just believe in inshallah driving. Oh, mate. But yeah, let me get the sparkling water opened. Big up there. Oh, chat and stream. Anybody else run into an issue where you accidentally buy sparkling water when you went to buy fucking oh shit. Jimmy Hart's Rain. Bingo. Anybody else run into an issue where you want to buy mineral water but you accidentally buy sparkling water? I spent £6.95 on this, whatever this country water's from, and it's not even fucking mineral water, it's sparkling. So fucking annoying, man. Honestly, how the chat guessed is absolutely hilarious. You guys guessing which people in my area don't drive with licenses is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, big up. Oh mate, the robot says, bro, I know a chick that bought 3,000 worth of fucking. Okay, cool. I'm only out £6, so I'm not going to complain too much. £3,000 worth is I'm so annoyed at myself, man. It's like, It's a nice bottle, don't get me wrong, and it doesn't taste too bad, but I wanted minerals. I didn't want sparkling fucking water. Do you know what I mean? I wanted mineral, but it's my fault. But there's legitimately nothing on this bottle that shows you, because even if you see here, right, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it even says here, there's like a word, I don't know what that says here. It's like APA, and it says mineral natural. But there's nothing here that says there's nothing here that says sparkle. Everything says mineral natural, mineral natural. So I don't know how they fucked me. I don't know how they fucked me, but they did. Anyway, whatever. So let's roll. So obviously I've been slacking with the streaming on here for a while, right? And I know some of you guys have been pissed, and again, apologies for my delays and my slackness and whatnot. But the reason why I've been slacking a bit with the uploads on here is because there's not really much going on in the whole comedy scene. It feels like everybody's on their best behavior, like I pointed out at the start of the podcast. I feel like people have basically, especially since Brendan's got through what he went through, I think it woke a lot of people up, it woke a lot of them up in terms of how many people are watching, especially people like us. I like to laugh at them. For, you know, they got their fans who don't really care. But for us who find, you know, comedy in some of their mistakes and their mishaps, I think they realize, wow, there's a lot of them watching, and there's a lot of them like legitimately watching, clipping what we say, and you know, as funny as it is, it's, you know, not funny, but as good as it is to get views, you don't want anyone to kind of have a compilation of all your fuck ups on YouTube getting hundreds of millions of views. It's just not needed. So I think a lot of them have kind of pulled back on doing anything too dumb or saying anything too outlandish. So there's not really much to report on, but I'll do my best to try and fill it up with some sort of fun stuff where we can all laugh about. But one thing that happened over the last few weeks that I thought was fairly funny was Whitney Cummings went onto Joe Rogan's podcast to talk about her new special that's out. So if you want to watch that, go and watch that. But I thought this clip was really funny because essentially this is the confirmation that we need that finally, Joe Rogan has woken up to the possibility of why some people don't like Brendan Schaub. Now, I'm not saying he has to always kind of be the one that's, you know, flying the banner of the flipping T-Fat-K subreddit. He doesn't have to be a homeless cat. He doesn't have to attack him the way those guys attack him. No, that's not the case. But it used to really get on my nerves when I'd hear him kind of, not to defend him, of course, he's your friend, but he just didn't understand why anybody would not like Brendan. Like it's impossible not to like him. And I was like, don't you know your friends? Like I have friends that I know who I like, but I also know why other people don't like them. Do you know what I mean? But they're still my friends. Doesn't mean I'm going to disown them, but I understand why somebody would speak ill of that person. Don't get me wrong, you can't do it around me because I'll beat you up, but still, I understand why you wouldn't like my friend because of his attitude, because of his how he carries himself, because of his views, whatever it may be. But I just don't like the fact that these guys think there is no reason under the sun that anybody could not like somebody. It's because, you know, it's just because they're hating, just because they're jealous of you, because they want your success, they want your money. It's like, no, sometimes we could just look at you, not like your character, think you carry yourself a certain way and just make our mind up that way. And also it's not that big of a deal, but still, I find this clip really interesting because it basically shows that maybe Joe Rogan's been watching a few of these videos online, checking out what all the fuss is about, because it must be impossible not to want to check a couple of videos if you're curious to find out what's happening. Why is everybody attacking Brendan? Why don't they like him? And clearly he's kind of found that out because I think this clip from his podcast feed in which Whitney Cummings basically confirms that he understands now why people don't like Brendan Schaub.
In this documentary, the most
or he's aware at least that he's not liked.
hated man on the internet.
No.
Did you hear?
Who is the most hated man on the internet?
His name is Hunter Moore. I don't
Brendan
know.
Schaub just went like this. Oh. Whew.
I remember this guy.
I don't even want to get caught in these crosshairs.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting too because throughout her entire what's your thing called, podcast promo tour thing, I don't think I've seen Whitney Cummings on The Fighter and a Kid. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think I've seen her on The Fighter and a Kid yet, which is funny because obviously they always should be close friends and stuff. But ever since what went down with Chris D'Elia went down, or what happened to Brian, what happened, whatever went down to Brian happened as well, she's clearly kind of distanced herself from that entire group of people. Which, if I'm to be honest, if I was them, I'd be a bit pissed off about. Even given what they've done or what they've been accused of, I'd be highly annoyed if she suddenly turned into a what would you say? If she suddenly started to disavow them as friends and as people, because if it was me and I was them, I'd be like, you were around, you knew what I was getting up to, you knew what time I was on, and now all of a sudden, because you're on this other walk of life or you're going this other direction, you want to distance yourself from people like myself because you think we're bad for business. But I'd be highly annoyed if I was them, to be honest. But it's very interesting that she hasn't made a single appearance on the Fire and the Kid during this entire time she's promoting a comedy special. And if I'm not mistaken, she's also, I felt like, giving everybody a heads up that she doesn't want to talk about Brendan Schaub or Bryan Callen or Crystalia, which I think is a bit gross personally for me, because I think these guys, they have all the smoke. They have all the smoke. They have all the chat for people, other people, when they get cancelled, and they want to talk about it ad nauseum. The moment it happens to their little group, they suddenly start getting scared and don't want to lose their jobs. And the funny thing about it is that their group usually has the most sickos. So really and truly, what you should do is just not talk about anybody. Just keep your mouth shut. You know, what's that saying? Don't throw stones in the glass house, and just, mind your business. But they're so nosy and so gossipy, most of these comedians, that they can't help but speak about other people. So when a topic comes about where some other Hollywood star gets cancelled, they want to talk about it and dissect the reasons why. Oh shit, they're in a cult. Oh no, they abuse young girls. They want to talk about it a lot, right? But the moment it happens to somebody in their own group, they're all suddenly quiet. They're too scared to comment on it. They don't want the person to come on their show. I thought you were anti-cancel culture. I thought you guys are anti-censorship. Right? I thought that was the thing. If that's the case, you're anti-cancel culture, anti-censorship, and you can do what you want, why not you get your friends on your show so they can defend themselves? Joe Rogan's a good example of that too. Don't get me wrong, it's not his position to do it, but you got the biggest podcast in the world, mate. Do you know what I mean? You're anti-censorship and stuff. If your friends are in a pickle and you actually think they didn't do what they were accused of, why don't you lend them your platform so that they can broadcast their defense to millions and potentially billions of people? But they don't, because they're all full of shit, which is not a bad thing. Again, like I keep saying, being full of shit is not a bad thing. I'm full of shit. You're full of shit. But we know we're full of shit. For some reason, these guys don't think they're full of shit. That's the thing that's really funny. Even though they're comedians, by your very nature, you should be full of shit. Do you know what I mean? Because you're a stand-up comedian. That's the whole reason why you're funny, because you're full of shit and you make that funny. But for whatever reason, they don't grasp that, and they turn into these kind of weird contradictions of themselves when they get put in the same situation. It's really, really strange. I don't really know why it is exactly, but I have noticed it a bit. And honestly, if it was me and I was Crystalia and I was Bryan Callen and I was Brendan Schaub, I'd be like, how dare you? How dare you think you're above me now? How dare you think, how dare you basically turn your back on me and all that, whatever it may be, because you were there. You were fucking there. Do you know what I mean? You know exactly what time I was on. You know exactly what type of person I am. And now all of a sudden you're trying to, pretend to be the better person or whatnot. It's just, nah, I wouldn't have it, man, personally, if I was me. Again, that's not me excusing what they did. I still think they're all guilty. Personally, for me, I don't think there's any smoke about fire. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, if I was looking at it through the eyes of those guys, I would be annoyed. Don't get me wrong, I'd be really annoyed. But again, that's me. What are you guys saying in the chat here? I see it blowing up. 100% saying, if you're going to be a comedian, how can you not make fun of yourself? Exactly, says the robot. Letty says exactly. Berlu says much love, mate. Thank you, Blohini. Oh, did I say Blohini or Bloni? Josie says they're the worst in women when it comes to gossip. I don't agree with that. Josie Masters. Proven187 says, yeah, they're all a bunch of narcissists. They're also fragile. Yeah, narcissism is probably the explanation for all things, isn't it, really? The robot said, do you guys see the clip of Whitney talking about Callen whipping his dick out in front of the car when they first met? Exactly, the robot. Look, we have to all be honest here. There are some occasions in life where your friends, Ludova, why does that joke always make me laugh? Why do those shitty dad jokes like that always make me laugh? Almost didn't see you in the camo, brother. Why do I laugh at shitty dad jokes, but then I can't laugh at these professional stand-up comedians and their comedy specials that they put time into and they craft? Why do those crappy jokes make me laugh more than professional stand-up comedians? Please tell me why. Anyway, the robot mentioned a good point. Whitney Cummings said this story ages ago on The Fire and the Kid, when they were all friends, when it used to be good on Fox. Oh, it was so good back on days of Fox, man. Anyway, when Fire and the Kid was good on Fox, Whitney Cummings shared a story in front of Bryan Callen. When they first met, Bryan was obviously trying to put the moves on her because obviously he wants to fuck anything that's moving. He's one of those type of dudes. And one of his moves, for whatever reason, was when they were in a car together. And was he driving? I think he must have been. No, he might not. Bryan's definitely that kind of guy that likes getting driven around by women. You know, those type of dudes that like to get driven around. Like, he's definitely one of those type of guys. So maybe he was in the passenger seat. And for whatever reason, I guess he felt horny or he felt a connection. He whipped out his dick in the car. Now, I guess he felt she was one of those girls that was going to get down and suck it, wank it, whatever it may be. She didn't. They laughed about it, and then it kind of, they turned into friends. But I thought that little joke story they shared where they all laughed, once the allegations came out about Bryan, it was also very... Bryan, that name, it kind of explained a lot, you know what I mean? And it kind of married up to his personality. That the person that would whip out their dick in front of a person they don't know in a situation that probably wasn't very conducive to that kind of level of flirting, because it can happen. You can be somewhere and you can have a connection with somebody across a dance floor and think, you know what, then whip out my dick. I think they're ready, right? There can be occasions where that can happen, but you wouldn't imagine just talking to somebody normally, talking about the industry, talking about wanting to go grab some lunch. Maybe, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll give you a lift to the shop around the corner to get some lunch. You jump in the car, you're talking about lunch. You might be talking about something you saw on TV, and then bang, a dip comes out. That's a bit weird, isn't it? But it also explained, I think, the allegations against Bryan at the time. It definitely explained it, and it made me believe that those allegations were definitely true. But also, it explains that she was aware that Bryan was on demon time from ages ago. So if you witnessed that, I'm pretty sure her close relationship with Chris D'Elia, there's no way that she didn't witness or wasn't present or around the times when he came into the comedy store with a haram of flipping 16-year-olds. I don't think that was ever not the case. You can't not see that. Like, it's just not possible. So this whole, I'm not going to talk about them because I don't want to be associated with it, because I'm over it, because I don't think it's nice, because it's not something I condone. It's just, come on, do me a favor. Do me a fucking favor. You were there, you knew. We all know you knew. But yeah, what are we gonna do, man? Oh, but it's, you know what? Can I throw a controversial opinion out there? I still think it's proof of how successful. No, I still think it's proof of how well liked generally Chris D'Elia, Bryan Callen, all those guys are, that they were able to survive those kind of levels of accusations and still have a career. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen would still prefer to have a Hollywood career because they're not going to get it again. But I think they would prefer that. But I think it still goes to show how well liked they are, that they were able to bounce back off of being accused of being, messing with underage girls, and also being accused of rape. Those are some heavy allegations. To come back off the back of that goes to show that you actually have quite a lot of fans. Now, the problem with these guys is that they take it for granted. They don't want podcast fame. They're not happy with podcast fame. They're not happy with just doing comedy shows. They want more. They're always striving for more. They want the recognition in places that they're not going to ever get it. Like, before Chris D'Elia got cancelled, he was wanting to be an action movie star. It's like, come on, bruv, you can't act. Before Bryan Callen got cancelled, he was trying to be a comedic actor on TV. Mate, you're too old. You've been trying this for ages. You can't, there's an expiration date at a certain point. If it's not happened, just double down on the comedy. And the Bryan Callen thing's even weirder because I always felt like he was a guy that, unfortunately, was more talented at the thing that he didn't enjoy. I felt like he was way more talented at doing stand-up, but then he loved acting. But acting, just, you're not good, bruv. I've watched the 40-year-old version. You're probably one of the worst ones in it. Do you know what I mean? Let's be for real. But yeah, man, but they don't take it for granted. Like, they really think they're entitled to a Hollywood career, so they're probably pissed off that they don't have it. But if anything, they should be appreciative that they're able to bounce back. Like, think who else in society or in entertainment can come back from having been accused of rape and being accused of flipping, messing with kids and stuff. It's not easy to come back from those allegations. It's very difficult to do so. Like, who's that guy? Army Hammer was accused of being a cannibal, right? I don't think he actually ate anybody, right? That Army Hammer actor. I don't think he actually chewed on actual human flesh. He was just, a bit freaky with the texts, and he would talk about it and that kind of stuff. And maybe he would play around with it in the bedroom. But it wasn't something that he didn't go to conventions. He didn't buy body parts off of the internet and eat them on stream. He just had a kink for cannibalism. And he looks like a flipping male model. Like, he looks beautiful. He's an absolute stunning man. And he's like a decent actor. And he got cancelled. Completely cancelled, to the point where I remember seeing an article somewhere that he's working in some hotel in like Bora Bora or something. He's working in a hotel as a receptionist, Army Hammer, because of his kink that he has of being into, biting girls on the neck and shit and being a bit racy in the bedroom. So these guys are still having a career, still be able to fly around the world, fly around their country, perform in front of hundreds and thousands of people potentially, have their podcasts viewed by thousands, off the back of allegations, to have a career. You have to thank God. You have to be thankful. You have to thank God. You have to thank somebody. Whoever you thank, you have to thank somebody. Be appreciative of it. But, these motherfuckers take everything for granted. It's really, really crazy. But hey, what can you do? Let's continue. This is a good one. So, I've had a long and I've been thinking about this for a while. Something I've spoken about many times on this podcast, but I really struggle to kind of get my head around what works and what doesn't work on social and on the internet. Even though I've been online for a while and I'm obviously trying to do my own thing, but just as a consumer of stuff and as a watcher of things, as a viewer, wherever it may be, I'm always thinking about like, how come this works and that doesn't work? Do you know what I mean? It's always kind of playing in my mind, that sort of stuff. And when it comes to locals, it's even more interesting, because usually locals are usually people who have very reprehensible or distasteful personalities or character traits about them. But for whatever reason, they garner a huge following online, or they're able to kind of support themselves. Bloody said Hotel in Bora Bora, damn. Okay, don't get me wrong. Bora Bora isn't Afghanistan, I understand, but still, he's Army Hammer, he's a Hollywood actor. To be working in flipping in a hotel as a receptionist is not, his life's work should be acting. I mean, that's what he's been blessed with in terms of a talent. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, working in a hotel is a flipping, that's the equivalent of working in a flipping McDonald's for him. It should be anyway. Anyway, it continues. Locals have abhorrent personalities, and it always kind of perplexes me why they seem to be really successful despite their reprehensible and almost, barfing level, cringe levels of personality. It just doesn't make sense to me. I can't work it out. But over the course of watching a lot of people and consuming a lot of content, one thing that really stuck out to me that I thought was really a cheat code that a lot of these people have, that a lot of people don't recognize, is delusion. I honestly think delusion is one of the main secret ingredients and secret ingredients in the secret sauce that you need to be successful online. To the point where I think delusion is similar to like lack of shame, or being shameless actually, or not having the capability of being embarrassed is a key ingredient to being content creator and being successful. Why do I say that? Have you ever tried to record yourself talking into your camera of your phone on social media and stuff when you're walking on the street, and then someone sees you doing it and you immediately climb up and get embarrassed? That's what most people are like. Most people get shy. But if you want to be a content creator, you have to kind of, be comfortable in that shyness, or kind of get over it, that people are looking at you and they think you're ridiculous, especially if you're like recording a TikTok video and shit. I think the same thing is with delusion. Delusion is a key ingredient, because in order to get online like I am, to sit here in front of 139 viewers and whatnot, and to be ranting into the camera using this flipping shitty web, Amazon headphones I got on, and wearing a stinky camo jacket and these shitty glasses and a do-rag on, and think anyone cares about what I say, I have to be a little bit delusional, right? I have to be a little bit delusional. And you need it in order to be successful. And I think the real successful people are the ones that really believe in their delusion, like they believe in it to the core. And I think a good example of it, the best example of it we have, is Brendan Schaub. And this clip, to me, demonstrates why this guy is successful monetarily and maybe quote unquote career wise. Maybe not in terms of life. Maybe some of you guys wouldn't want his life and whatnot, in his personal relationship and whatnot. But in terms of like having a mansion, driving the fast cars, having whatever, having the ability to do what he wants, this is why he's successful. Because despite us all thinking he's not funny and that he sucks at comedy, this is his reaction to him watching himself on screen telling a joke. You know how most comedians are embarrassed when somebody asks them, can you do a joke? Or they don't like watching themselves perform, or they don't like listening to themselves. Look at his reaction as he's watching himself on screen.
You might listen shirt came up. He's been waiting for this moment his entire life. Go time, babe. I'm gonna twist that dick like you've never seen. They were talking to Mike Tyson. I tried to.
He's really amused and chuffed and giggling along to himself on this clip. He's like, wow, that guy's so funny. He's hilarious. Wow, that guy's amazing. He legitimately thinks he's funny, like in his head. And that might be the reason why his comedy isn't great, because I think you have to have a little bit of you have to be a little bit self-deprecating, I'd imagine, in stand-up comedy to be funny. You have to have the ability to like, insult yourself and to see all your flaws before somebody else sees them, in order to see the flaws in others. But he legitimately thinks he's Richard Pryor. He thinks he's Dave Chappelle. He is flipping Louis C.K. in his head. Legitimately thinks that. And also, have you ever seen any other stand-up comedian? Look at themselves on stream or on their podcast, and legitimately enjoy what they're watching. Most of them they're skipping. No, let's move it. Let's get myself off the screen. They don't like watching themselves perform. None of them do. They all kind of get grossed out by it. But this guy's the only one that just sits and watches clips of himself on the podcast, talking. It's it's amazing to watch. Watch it one more time.
You might listen shirt came up. He's been waiting for this moment his entire life. Go time, babe. I'm gonna twist that dick like you've never seen. They were talking to Mike Tyson. I tried to.
It's incredible. Honestly, it's incredible. And I think that solidifies my point of view, or my theory, that the main ingredient to be successful online is delusion. Maybe even more so than lack of shame or being shameless. I think delusion is the most important thing. If you're delusional about how good you are and how great you are, the sky's the limit. But unfortunately, most of us, myself included, we have not even imposter syndrome is the word, but you sometimes think you're undeserving of stuff. You sometimes question yourself. You sometimes think, what's the point? You have all those niggling things. But the real redacted one, the real winners in this ones are the redacted ones that don't think any of that. They think, no, I am the next Joe Rogan. Do you know what I mean? That's what they think. They think, no, I am the guy. I'm deserving of this. This is mine. Do you know what I mean? That's how that's how they become successful. Actually, it's actually something that people should give them more credit for. But people giving Brendan Schaub credit is probably not very easy to do. Amy said, I wish I wasn't jerking his lips Papa when he was watching yourself fucking. Amy. Oh, amazing. What people saying in the chat, low cost, check out the low Barry. Who said that? King Yeti. If you like low cows, check out the low berry. Oh, mate, amazing. But yeah, let's move on for that one. Next clip to talk about here. With friends. Okay, I haven't actually watched this whole thing. What is this? Oh, it's a bit of a long clip. Let's skip that and I'll watch that later. It's a bit too long at the moment. It's another good one. So, I want you guys. This is Sarah. Oh, big up. Yeah, big up, Amy. Big up. I want to say one thing here. Question to the chat. Is there a person on earth right now who isn't a family member, who isn't a close friend, like a celebrity or an icon or a musical legend or a designer, a sports figure, somebody out there in the world, present or past, somebody who you would legitimately quiver if you saw them, like you would shake, you'd maybe scream, you would hug them. If they became your friend, you would excuse everything they said that was wrong. You would make excuses for them in general. You would mention them in every moment. You would drop their name in a conversation, even if it had nothing to do with them. Is there somebody that you would literally lose all dignity for? Does that person exist in your life? Do you have a person like that? Because I was thinking about myself. I can't think of somebody. The only person I can think of who's close to that is maybe like, yeah, someone said in the chat, is maybe Michael Jackson. Yeah, a Michael Jackson figure, or maybe Pharrell. Right, in terms of like how they impacted me in life and whatever it may be, right, and me kind of looking up to what they did. Maybe Kanye, not so much now in recent years, but yeah, I can think of maybe again Michael Jackson, Pharrell, and that might be it in terms of people that I would legitimately lose my shit for, and I would make all the excuses under the sun for. Somebody that I would fight for all the time, somebody that I would just suck off on podcasts. Do you know what I mean, continually. Like somebody that could do no wrong in my eyes. That's the only person I can think of, right? Now, the reason why I ask this is because I can't think, it perplexes me how these grown men in the comedy scene, these people with kids, these people with sometimes multiple families, right? Many marriages, many different career trajectories, many different, careers in terms of what they actually end up doing. How they suck up to and just adore Joe Rogan. It's really bizarre to me. Now, I understand on one point, he is literally the male Oprah. And I'm a big fan of his also. I've been listening to his podcast since, the early 400 episodes or something like that, right? Somewhere around that mark. So I'm very accustomed to Joe Rogan. But he's not like a deity to me. He's an entertaining figure, somebody that I've got a lot from, right? I even got introduced to jiu-jitsu because of him. So, and the UFC. But he's not to the point where I put him on a pedestal and he cannot do no wrong to me. He says some annoying things. He says some cool things and I just keep it moving. But the way these comedians suck up to Joe Rogan, I don't understand, because some of these guys, especially someone like a Brendan, he would probably cry and sob on the podcast, God forbid, if Joe Rogan passed away. But when he's speaking about his family member passing away, his mother's grandma, his own grandmother, it's like whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like he accidentally fucking ran over a pigeon. But when it comes to this Joe Rogan guy, the way they bred him or the way they suck him off is so bizarre to me. And this video clip here, courtesy of the Fire and the Kids subreddit, is essentially, the title says something like, does Joe Rogan laugh like Brendan Schaub, or does Brendan Schaub laugh like Joe Rogan? And to me, this is an example of somebody really loving somebody to another level. The fact that you would copy their laugh to this point, like at a grown adult. Because this happens when you're a kid. When you're a kid and somebody's cool, especially for boys. I don't know if it happens in girl groups. I'm not sure if it's the same in girl groups. But I know for boys, when you're growing up and there's a cooler member of your like group, whatever, you sometimes copy what they say. You might copy their vernacular. You might copy the way they dress, the way they carry themselves, the jokes they make. You might just copy them because you just want to, you want to sort of, you want to kind of copy your cool friend, right? And you're a kid, you're flipping under 10 years old. But these grown adults copying Joe Rogan's mannerisms in their, 40s, late 30s, 50s is just beyond cringe for me. It's beyond cringe. It makes me flipping want to vomit in my stomach. And this video kind of proves it. So this is Brendan copying Joe, or is Joe copying Brendan in terms of their laugh? Oh, I got a super chat here from Ted Hugh Hodges for $7. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the super chat. It says here, I've been creeping on your Weird Al streams for a while and love the rants. You're entertaining, dude. Thanks for the random streams. No problem, Todd Hughes. I appreciate you donating on the super chat. Thank you, friend. So this is the clip. Does Joe laugh like Brendan, or does Brendan laugh like Joe?
All right, take it easy, Brendan. Brendan, take it easy. Brendan, take.
Bro, you don't even know you're an idiot.
All right, take it easy, Brendan. Brendan, take it easy. Brendan, take.
Like a cliff climber.
All right, take it easy, Brendan. Brendan, take it easy. Brendan, take.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get him back in the car. Like you're sitting there honking the horn. You can't. That guy's out there.
That's exactly what I meant.
You sounded like Rogan right there.
All right, take it easy, Brendan. Brendan, take it easy. Brendan, take.
It's insane. It's legitimately one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my entire life. A grown man copying how another grown man laughs. That's what I said at the beginning of it. Like, do you guys have a person outside of your family and friends who you would suck up to this level, to this extent? Like an adult, somebody you met when, again, this is the thing as well. He met Joe Rogan when he was in his 30s, I'm assuming, or maybe late 20s. It's not somebody that you've met since you were a child and you grew up together and you went through hard times. No, it's somebody you met in your adult age. And just because they happen to be really rich and successful, you would lose yourself to them. That person exist. And like I said, I said my person would be maybe Michael Jackson, Pharrell, and maybe if it was a sporting figure, maybe David Beckham, for the memories that he gave me when I was young, growing up in it, being a Man United fan. Maybe David Beckham, Pharrell, and Michael Jackson. Maybe. But then I'd still be gross after a while. I'd still be gross that I'm fucking sucking up to a dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a man. Like, it's not that big of a deal. He just played football. They just make music. He was just an entertainer. But this is fucking insane. I can't get by it, but God bless Theo for recognizing that he was fucking laughing like fucking like Rogan, because this is just nuts to me. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Someone please tell me in the flipping I don't like sucking up, says Amy. Feels gross. Agree. Sonny says it insults the intelligence of the person you're saying it to. Agreed. I never realized that, says Todd Hughes. David Kingsbury says, how about Elon Musk? I also like Rogan. No, I like Rogan. I like Elon Musk. They're both cool. But do you ever meet about that laugh? What the fuck is going on? Exactly. Just wait. If his wife left again, he'll have the fifth of Tiger's whiskey next to him next show. MM said, someone who can give you a career just for being nearby. Yeah, that's a good point. MM makes a very good point. Someone who can give you a career just for being nearby, like being close to them. I think it makes sense for these losers who can't get ahead any other way. It does make sense because without Joe Rogan, would these guys be who they are? Probably, but not to the level that they're at. Do you know what I mean? That platform, that connection definitely bolstered their career. We know for sure Brendan Schaub wouldn't be who he is without Joe Rogan. That's for sure. Matter of fact. We definitely know that. So maybe it makes sense that if you can, because they all know if they get on Rogan, they're going to become, essentially there's an option that you could become a flipping multi-millionaire if you play your cards right. So maybe that makes sense. But sitting there and going, and laughing the way he does, like, because you think it's cool, it's fucking redacted to the weirdest tip. Honestly is. I just can't get by it. What? Sonny says Elon is a twitchy bloodline South African royal lineage. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I know Joe Rogan's amazing. I know the show is great for comedians. I know it does a lot for their careers. But going to this level where you can't say, for one, no comedian says anything wrong about Rogan. There's no comedian that will ever come out and say anything disparaging about him. That's weird. Two, whoever wants to get on the show. Two, for the most part, they copy his mannerisms. And he can do no wrong in their eyes. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just strange for me. I just find it weird. Grown men sucking up to somebody like that is really bizarre to me. And also another instance of it. So this is a little update. So obviously most of you know Joe Rogan and Bryan Callen were really good friends for a long, long time, right? Bryan Callen would be on the show a lot of the time. Joe Rogan always talk about how Bryan Callen was his best friend because they knew each other when they were really young. There's an iconic picture of Joe Rogan and Bryan Callen in the back of some taxi, looking really old and looking really young at the same time. And they've had a long relationship in LA and whatever else, right? In LA and entertainment industry doing their thing. Then, of course, Bryan gets accused of rape. And as soon as he gets accused of rape, it felt like Mr. Anti-Cancel Culture, Mr. Anti-Censorship, in terms of Joe Rogan, went completely silent and, basically pretended like Bryan Callen didn't exist throughout the entire ordeal. Never mentioned his name, never once. And again, no one's saying he should be standing up for him and fighting his battles, but for somebody who's so vocal about talking about other people's cancellation issues and talking about the anti-cancel culture thing, talking about censorship, maybe talking about how people shouldn't be getting judged and in a court of public opinion and losing their career for something they said or something they might have done, blah 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 blah. It was very surprising for me that he didn't make any effort to stand up for Bryan Callen, considering they're actually friends. from what it looks like. Again, I don't know the behind the scenes, but they seem like they were friends. And it clearly, I would assume, if you're Bryan Callen and your friend happened to be one of the biggest podcasters in the world, and he just refuses to mention you, or maybe he's not replying back to your text messages, it would maybe hurt my feelings, because your career's already done. But then you would hope that at least your friends who have the ability and the means to maybe help you get your career back could try to help you, but they don't, because obviously they've got to protect their own, their own back. And I think also, to be honest, my theory is that Joe Rogan was possibly negotiating the Spotify deal around the same time Bryan Callen was getting cancelled. And clearly, that kind of money, Spotify money, was too good to turn down because he took the deal in the first place. Because I was surprised he even had an exclusivity deal with a streaming platform. I would just assume Joe Rogan would have kept doing what he was doing from before until the end of time. Because it was at the time, I think the last time I read the report, they said that he was making anywhere between like 30 to 50 million per year off the podcast alone, doing it the way he was doing it before, uploading it onto YouTube, and having it on all the streaming platforms. He was already making 30 to 50 million. Then as soon as he entered negotiations with Spotify and that deal got announced, it was like anything between 100 million to 300 million for only a 3-year licensing deal, which is absolutely insane. Joe Rogan fucking smash it. That's a deal of the century, to license your podcast for only 3 years and get 300 M's. Bravo. But I think that was a bad luck for Bryan, because that meant that he couldn't stand up for him because he didn't want to jeopardize the deal and get any bad press and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's also funny that in the wake of everything happening and Bryan Callen basically getting his career back, kind of, in terms of going back on podcasting, but the Hollywood stuff is done, because it is done. Like I said before, if Armie Hammer can get cancelled and he's a stud and he can get cancelled for imaginary cannibalism, this guy getting accused of rape, it's not going to happen anymore. So the Hollywood career is done. But at least he's got the podcast, he's got means to feed his family. But still, even with that being said, you don't really see Bryan Callen on the podcast anymore. Because I'm assuming it's an elephant in the room, isn't it? Like, you have to talk about this. You went through a flipping rape allegation thing. Like, you have to speak about this shit. And obviously, Joe just doesn't want that smoke on his podcast anymore. But they still talk about him a lot. They still mention Joe Rogan's name and they make it seem like they're all still close, but they're not. They're not close anymore. And I thought this video clip that Bryan Callen uploaded on his Instagram thing was quite bittersweet, because clearly they don't talk as much as they did in the past. Clearly they're not as close as they were in the past, and clearly things have changed. But they're just trying to, it's the entertainment industry. You got to just play these games and pretend like you're still friends and stuff. But it's a little bit sad. I got to be honest, it's a little bit sad.
And just the people, just
Is that the folks out there in the world?
My dear friend, we haven't had a meal in 2.5 years or something.
Bro, the pandemic fucked us all up.
I know, but you know
how
what?
to move.
You still look so fucking young.
Bryan Callen thinking about
The pandemic, they said, huh? Sure.
moving to Texas, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
look at this place.
Cap Cities, come to a set.
Hey, no filter. Look, you can see my lips.
Oh, brutal. Come do a set. What did you say?
Look, I move my hand.
That's an inside joke.
But that's the inside joke.
Well.
Yeah, that was a bit embarrassing. That was a bit cringe, innit? That was a bit sad. That was a bit cringe. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I know someone's going to blame me on the comments. You're reading too much into it. You don't have a life. Get your own friends. No, I don't want my own friends. I want imaginary ones. I want to live my life vicariously through these guys' issues. I have no friends. This is why I'm on this stream at 3:43 a.m. here London time doing what I'm doing. So when you guys insult me and say, you have no friends, why are you doing this stuff? Duh, this is why I'm doing it. You have no friends. Of course I have no friends. That's why I'm fucking here. You think if I had a healthy family and friendship life that I'd be here? Of course I wouldn't. I'd be hanging out with my family and friends, but I don't have any, so I'm here with you guys, my family and friends. Oh. But yeah, that was hilarious. Did you catch that bit where he said, come to a set? And the funny thing about this, right? The funny thing about this come to a set thing, I can't find it because I don't want to search around. But there was a couple episodes ago on The Fighter and the Kid, Bryan Callen and Brendan were talking, and Bryan was basically hinting that when he goes to do a show at Austin, he might have Joe Rogan come out and do a set. Like, oh, some guy might be there who's got a big podcast. He might do a set. You might know him. His name rhymes with Toe Rogan, whatever it may be, right? And and clearly that didn't happen because Joe didn't do the set, right? He just didn't do it. So scheduling issue, I'm not sure what happened, but I just find it funny that these guys talk a big game about others. They have a lot to say when everyone else goes through their personal issue, but then when something happens to their friends, it seems like they abandon them the same way everyone else abandons them. You know, when you get into an issue, the streaming platforms ditch you. You get your shows cancelled and all that stuff, right? And this is the same thing their friends do to them, because in public, you know, they don't stand next to them, they don't support them, they don't support them on their shows. They kind of pretend they don't exist. It's the same thing that the kind of mainstream media does. It's exactly the same thing. So when they talk all that big stuff about being anti-cancel culture and being anti-censorship, it's just lip service, it's just words for the sake of it. But I did find it quite sad and embarrassing for Bryan, because clearly this relationship has changed. And again, you know, off the other side of the rape allegation, Joe Rogan's a completely different person now. He's a completely different level of caliber podcaster. He's essentially a de facto what would you say, news source for some people. He's become essentially the institution in some way, shape, or form. He's at the barometer of success. If you go on Rogan, you've made it kind of thing. He's 300 M's richer. It's just a different relationship. So it's not the same thing as before. And of course, Bryan Callen has rape accusation over his head. I understand if you're Rogan, you can't have that guy around you. It's not good for business. But it was just, you know, part of me kind of cringed when he was like, come do a set. And then, you know, randomly flipping Rogan heard that and didn't listen to it. It just kept on steaming through. It's just, it's fucking brutal, man. It's fucking brutal. But hey, what can you do in it? I guess don't rape people, I guess, isn't it? That's a lesson out there. Don't rape, or you might lose your friendship with Joe Rogan. Oh, anyway, let's continue here. What are people saying in the chat? Amy said, boom, destroyed, nuked. Maybe they're good to keep a secret hush as they fuck up. Yeah, maybe they do. I think some people have said that. Maybe, I remember some people saying that, Amy. Someone suggested the other day, someone said in a comment once, maybe the reason why Joe Rogan didn't talk about it is because he didn't want to bring more attention to it, because he's got a big platform. Like, why should I talk about, I should actually, to help my friend, is to not say anything because I don't want to bring more attention to it, which I think it's cap. But that is an interesting theory. Maybe not talk about it and hope it goes away. But I'm just saying, from my point of view, I've been listening to hours of these guys speak. They don't miss opportunity to talk about everybody else's cancellations that aren't their friends. But the moment this happens to one of their friends, suddenly they get all scared. Do you know what I mean? Which is, you know, understandable, but, you know, again, I can laugh at it. I'm allowed to laugh at it. Let's continue. See Phoenix saying, I distance myself from that weirdo drama too, that they pull Rogan into and use his name and clout to threaten careers of comedians. That's leeches for you. Yeah, okay, that's true. That's a good point. Maybe that's an insight into what happens behind the scene. Maybe the reason why Joe Rogan didn't want to get involved is because these guys speak about him when he's not around anyway, use his name and kind of make him look bad anyway. So he just didn't want to get involved anymore, because that Bobby Lee revelation was fucking incredible. That was crazy. When Bobby Lee revealed that Bryan Callen, I think on the phone, was threatening him with Joe Rogan. Like, he was basically saying, hey, stop spreading disinformation or about Brendan, or stop talking shit about Brendan, whatever it may be, or stop, you know, commenting on a Reddit, or I'm gonna fuck up your career. And then he mentioned Joe Rogan's name as like a point of reference, like as a point of, like, as like a threat. I'll tell Joe. It's like, what? You'll tell Joe what? That Brendan tried to fuck my wife? Like, is that what you're gonna and I got angry about it. Oh, my bad. I got upset that you tried to fuck my wife and I got pissed off. My bad. You know what I mean? Like, if those guys are doing that to Bobby Lee, imagine what they're doing to other people behind the scenes. So maybe that is a good point, actually, C Phoenix. That's a very, very good point. Maybe he knows, you know, like, these guys, like, they're fucking redacted anyway. I don't want to get involved in this nonsense. Keep me out of it. But a part of me, as much as I know, or as much as I believe most likely Bryan did do what he was accused of doing, a part of me can't help but feel sorry for him that, you know, his friends are just all abandoned him, like properly abandoned him. And they all knew what kind of person he was. Joe Rogan shared that story once already in his podcast, where he set Bryan Callen up with a friend of his, a female friend. And the female friend one day called him complaining that how she told Callen not not to come in her, sorry. And he did it anyway. And he was laughing about it on the podcast. I forgot what show it was. It's a fucking crazy story to hear him laughing and thinking that's a funny story. Like, oh, ha, Bryan Callen's so crazy, man. This girl that I recommended him to, she said, don't come inside me. And he did come inside and said, oops, or something. Bro, these guys are absolute sickos, honestly. Complete sickos. I don't know. Let's move over. What else to talk about here? Oh, let's talk about this. So, there's this video that I guess Brendan is trying to get. Brendan wants to go viral, and I guess it's a video of him doing stand-up comedy, and then some heckler said something, and then something happened. I don't know. Something happened, at a show. Heckler heckles, and I guess some comedy ensues, and they made it into a video, bit of content they put out on their flipping platforms and whatnot. And he's trying to turn this into a thing to kind of go viral and kind of pick it out the back of whatever in it, some nonsense. But I haven't actually watched the clip, so we're gonna watch it all together. And I think the title of it is called "Twist That Dick." That's what the hashtag is, right? So we're going to watch this together. So please be prepared for the cringe and everything, but I don't care. If I have to suffer watching this stuff, you have to suffer too. So let's go. Let's see what all the commotion was about.
I don't want to hear shit you got to say for the rest of the night. Hey, bitch, tell me what that nigga thinking. Now, let your girl speak for you, you fucking hoe-ass nigga.
Okay, so let me actually read the captions, because I'm not reading.
I don't want to hear shit you got to say for the rest of the night. Hey, bitch, tell me what that nigga thinking. Now, let your girl speak for you, you fucking hoe-ass nigga.
After getting destroyed by David Lucas, they don't stop. Brendan now takes the stage. What's up, people are fighting in the background? Look at Brendan Schaub's fans. Look at the look of Brendan Schaub's fans. Just look at them. Just soak that again. Some people say, look at you, you're wearing back glasses with a do-rag and a flipping camo jacket indoors and you're drinking warm, sparkling water. I understand, noted, touche. But look at the structure, look at the frame, look at the physical aspects of flipping Brendan Schaub's fans. Interesting.
Yeah, she just would not stop.
She won't shut up. She keeps going. She keeps going.
My buddy said he threw Kit Kats at me, but it didn't matter. He threw something.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
He swung himself over the rail.
That guy has a rough night.
I only hit him like once or twice, and then I held him because I really didn't want to hurt him.
Nice screen. Grab his dick and twist it.
Grab his dick and twist it!
Oh my god, dude.
What the fuck?
So the whole premise of this joke is a joke that already exists. Am I reading this right? There was a joke. Who's that guy? The guy that used to write on Chappelle's Show. I guess that was him, that little clip. He made a joke, a skit, I guess, a while back, where a heckler says, twist that dick off. And someone else said the same thing when that fight was breaking out in the crowd. And they framed the entire video around that. This is equivalent to somebody shouting out "World Star" if you're fighting in a street fight. Is that enough to make a piece of content and make that try and go viral? Like, oh, my brain hurts, man. I should be a stand-up comedian. If this is the level of effort it takes to be a successful stand-up comedian who drives purple Porsches and lives in a mansion, I need to get involved.
You know what's his shirt came off? He's been waiting for this moment his entire life. Go time, babe. I'm gonna twist that dick like you've never seen. They were talking to my.
What an interesting way to tell jokes, isn't it?
As I said, I try to ignore it. I try to be cool, right? I try to be cool, and then Jersey Shore beat the shit out of me.
He did what everybody here wanted to do.
Yep.
You gotta come harder. surely someone's heckling you on the stage and they're interrupting your set, which is not cool and definitely disrespectful. You have to kind of respect the person on the stage and give them the time to tell their jokes and stuff and not interrupt them and whatnot. If they do interrupt your time on stage, you have to eviscerate them. Not because of them, but you have to eviscerate them so everyone else around you or around that person doesn't get any encouragement from saying something. Because if you just let it go, or you don't say anything funny enough, or you don't nip it in the bud, someone else might think, you know what, you're doing a bad job, let me be the star of the show, and then they say something. So when you're on stage, you have to kind of eviscerate them, go to their necks. And it's interesting that he doesn't really have any good insults in it, or ways to kind of destroy somebody with words. He just repeated back what he said, and essentially just said what he did, what the kid did, right? Instead of spitting out stuff in his mouth. But that was it. Anyway, the caption says, Jersey Shore and his friends got kicked out, but the crew found him and demanded they let him back in and brought him on stage. So Jersey Shore has now become a part of their... Honestly, man, this is painful. So in a weird way, is this Brendan like advocating for violence in his shows? He wants people in his crowd to beat up hecklers if they interrupt his set, instead of being professional and just dealing with it on his own as a professional stand-up comedian and destroying that heckler with his words, or getting a security guards to escort that person out if the security guard... I know traditionally security guards at comedy clubs are a bit shit, but you know, destroy them with their words, embarrass them to the point where they don't want to say anything anymore, or embarrass them to the point where they get embarrassed because everyone else is looking at them and laughing. But instead, he's advocating and sort of championing the fact that one of his fans in the crowd beat up another fan because he interrupted his set. Is that all you're doing here now? And again, it's not me being a Karen or being a fucking pussy. This is me saying you're advocating for violence in your own shows. And they're your own fans. It's not like this is a hater that came in. This is your own fan that came in, got too drunk and started blurting out shit. It happens, innit? It's a comedy show. They fucking sell you 2 drinks for $10. What do you think people are going to do? Of course they're going to get fucking sloshed.
Twist that dick!
Thank you, man. Yeah, good work. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for not twisting his dick.
I like how there's no plan when he got up on stage. No plan. No, what's your name? No, like, where do you come from? How long you been checking out my stuff? I don't know, a joke, maybe take the piss out of him. They just both stand there awkwardly. Yeah, man, yeah. Brendan, like, I've always said, my personal opinion is that I think Brendan hates his fans. Personally, I think he hates his fans. In the same way DSP hates his fans, Dark Side Phil. Dark Side Phil once, this is Dark Side Phil law. Most of you don't give a shit, but Dark Side Phil, an online content creator that's fucking annoying. Ages ago, a long time ago, he did like a phone-in show. Like on Slack, like a Zoom phone-in show where his fans could phone in Q&A style. And I honestly think that was the first time he actually saw what his fans look like. Most of his detractors, guys that don't like him, myself included, we knew what his fans looked like because on Kiwi Farms and those kind of places, they will get the they'd find out who some of his donators were and basically, troll them or whatnot online. But I don't think he knew what his fans looked like. So when he saw his fans, he was like shocked, innit? Like, because most of them looked like they were on the spectrum. Most of them looked like they suffered from some sort of mental or physical disability. Like, it was really like bleak to watch. It was kind of hard to watch in general. So my theory has always been that Brendan has never actually liked his fans because he wants better fans. He doesn't like the fact that they look like this, which is not an issue. Still somebody that's paying to go and see your show. He's still responsible in some ways for Brendan's lifestyle and his ability to support his family. But for some reason, I think he wanted cooler fans. But it gets embarrassed when he finds that his fans are like guys like this, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's why his interactions with his fans online, when you see the videos recorded of it, they're always awkward and weird and like clunky. They're never warm. It's never like he's appreciative they're there and you can feel the love. It's always like the fans really happy that they've met him, but him being a little bit like, you listen to my music? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's me. It's what Sunny's saying. Sonny saying here, it's self-defense IMO. He has an attitude of block out 100% of the noise since the get-go. You can't ram your noise into everything, Brendan. Okay, maybe that's also, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Again, that come. Why do these shitty dad jokes make me laugh and smile so much? Big up Jay Santos. I can't see AZ with all that camera. Thank you. What people saying here? And let's continue. Let's finish video. So let's finish video. Finish video.
Your friend is fucking Shaquille O'Neal, but whiteface? Holy shit, where were you? You could have held him down while he twisted his dick. Oh, I got a question for you. Why'd you rip your shirt off?
Are these jokes? These are jokes, you know. I would imagine, again, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I've never written a joke in my life. I don't know what these guys are doing. But I would imagine the easiest part of being a stand-up comedian, the easiest part should be taking the piss, like ribbing people, like having banter, like, do you know what I mean, fucking around with somebody. That should be the easiest part. Like, you look like whatever, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, for get out of here with your whatever. You know, those kind of like ripping into somebody's jokes. Especially if they're your fans. You should be able to like know what to kind of pick apart and whatnot. What are these jokes that this guy is saying? Whiteface Shaquille O'Neal. What? Doesn't the whole point of saying like face, the color face thing only work if it's blackface? Because blackface is the thing that is a lot of people think is something that you shouldn't do. So if you say it in a joke, it's meant to. You try. I mean that. What's whiteface got? Like what?
It just popped off. You're like Superman, dude. What'd you say? Oh, they ripped it off? Did it turn any buttons? Yeah, you know, you fucked them up. You fucked them up. No, that was a 10-8 round, Daddy. That was a 10-8 round. Bear my phone, please. I'll vouch for you. If you guys want to sit down and bring your friend back, please sit down. Please sit down. It's the least I can do. The real MVP's here.
Welcome to Baltimore.
Welcome to fucking Baltimore, kids.
Yo, that was rough, man. That was fucking rough. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Okay, let's be nice. Let's be charitable. It's a good thing he's making more of this type of content, right? It's a good thing he's putting out more stuff for his fans to check out online, especially the ones that haven't been to shows yet, so they can get an idea on what his shows look like. And it's also good for himself in terms of his career, because he needs to have more content of himself out there, because, you know, whatever content career you do, especially in entertainment, you have to have some sort of like digital footprint and stuff online for people to see, blah, blah, blah. But the sad thing about it is that you get to see what his actual shows are like. And to me, they look fucking boring. Like, these shows are only good if you're fans of the people, it looks like. Which maybe is a sign of the times. You have to be a fan of Brendan. You have to be a fan of that entire T-Fat-K crew of people. BGO included, this fat fuck included. I don't know who else it is in there. Somebody, I don't know who else. There's many other people involved in that crew. But you have to be a fan of them personally. You have to follow them on Instagram. You have to like their Instagram stories, like their pictures. You have to be fans of them to go to these shows, because from what we see on this clip, it's not funny. You're not going to their shows to be entertained. You're not going to, you're not going to a show to go and listen to new, fresh material, to hear that here's Brendan's take on this and that. You're going there because you want to see the person you're a fan of. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Theo Vaughn once said this in it. Actually, what someone said here to me. Why am I being tagged in here? Sonny says it's more of a reality show, pseudo substitute relationship. Yeah, for sure. And I remember Theo Vaughn saying it once on his podcast that that's how celebrity or podcasting fame kind of changed things, because people are more fans of you than they are of the thing that you do. They just support what you do in default. And I think that's what you basically get at Brendan Schaub's show. Like, you get a clear indication that you're not going there to be really entertained. You're not going there to be not informed or anything. Of course, it's not going to happen. You're not going there to see like an exhilarating show that's the best show on earth. You're there essentially to go support these guys who you like on podcasts and essentially see them do a version of podcasting solo on stage, because the jokes are like brutal. And to leave your house as a grown adult and to because the thing I think about this sort of stuff is like, it's all well and good going with your boys, going with the lads. I think if you go with your boys, you smoke a joint, you take some other drugs, you're drinking and stuff, you're eating food, you maybe go there with the idea, maybe you want to pick up some girls. I don't know whether you do with your bros. It may be a fun show, but I could never imagine subjecting a girlfriend, a wife, a partner to this that has no interest in this sort of stuff. That kind of like date night stuff. Imagine taking a date to a show like this and paying $50 or whatever it may be, plus parking, plus whatever petrol or transport costs that you need to get there, plus the food that you're going to eat. Like, imagine. That would be brutal. So that's the only, I think, negative of these clips. The positive is that it's a good advertisement for the shows and gets fans to maybe see what they're missing out on. But on the flip side, it also shows you that these shows are not funny in the slightest. Like, there's nothing fun about them. There's nothing, oh my God, there's no FOMO. There's no like sense of intrigue. There's no excitement. There's no like laughter, like zero. And this is edited into a 2-minute 30, a 3-minute clip edited down, right? And we've got hardly any laughs. We've got Brendan basically advocating for violence at his shows and basically in a weird way telling his fans, hey, if you heckle my other fans in the crowd may fuck you up. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Personally, if it was me, I think maybe it's just me as well, reading way too much into it. But I would imagine if it was me and I was getting people to leave their house and pay $30 to $50 for a ticket, I'd want to give them a fucking show, man. Like, a real show. I'd want them to go home feeling as if like I've given them value for money. Even if there's like 10 people in the crowd, I wouldn't give a shit. The fact that I know you paid, it would definitely make me want to put on a far better show for you and increase the production levels, or make sure that I'm working on my craft way harder behind the scenes and coming up with new material, like really going for it. But it seems like these guys really phone it in. Like, maybe the highlight of the entire show was that fucking interaction with that fan. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm reading too much into it as per usual, but hey. One other I want to mention quickly here. Brendan ages ago mentioned on not Helwani show, definitely not Helwani. He mentioned on the, what's his name? The Schmo show, right? That he had a deal with One Championship, right? The other organization when it comes to MMA. So there's UFC, there's Bellator, and there's One Championship. And Brendan basically mentioned the following, right? And we haven't really heard any update on this. So I'm really curious to see what's going on.
Stick Boy goes, the network, we're here tonight. We signed a deal. We'll be the official content news source for One Championship. We got a bunch more stuff coming up, which I told you about off air, but we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So honored to be associated with One Championship. Could be good, man. So we're just grinding, trying to.
It's funny that he says honored, because if you listen to Brendan talk about MMA or talk about, MMA in general, especially the UFC, he doesn't care about any other organization apart from the UFC. For him, the UFC is the NFL. If you're not in the UFC, you basically don't matter. You don't count. And it got to a point where I think he got into an argument, a bit of a back and forth with I think it's Josh Thompson. Maybe is it the guy he does the fight companions with? I'm pretty sure there's a clip of them ages ago getting into a little argument, because obviously Josh comes from basically that world and having, I think he fought in Bellator beforehand, and he basically follows the sport heavily and cares about, you know, all sports, all of the organizations. And Brendan was basically like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's just UFC or nothing. So to see him basically stay honored and try and act like he was the, you know, he was deep and heavy into one championship is fucking hilarious. But why I bring this up is we haven't heard anything about this so far, right? And I've said it plenty of times on here that I still can't for the life of me figure out why Brendan lies as much as he does. And the thing for me that is really interesting and funny and maybe worrying if you were him is that he lies about like stuff that you don't need to lie about, like, you know, a story about a celebrity that he bumped into or something. Like, we weren't even there. Why lie about it? It doesn't even matter. But he'll just lie for the sake of it. So I'm wondering, do you think Brendan is lying about this deal that he signed about Thick Boy becoming the, what was it, the content source or provider or partner with one championship? Because so far we've heard nothing, no official announcement, no big promo reel, nothing. And you'd imagine one championship wanting to get Brendan involved would be because of his digital, because of his social media kind of engagement and outreach and whatnot. Why wouldn't he want to announce it? So I'm really curious, like, is this a lie? Did he lie completely? Did he embellish the truth? Is he covering one championship, in some aspect and doing maybe a couple of fight cards, and then he kind of, as per usual, Brendan thing, he kind of sprinkled some sauce on it and made it seem like it was a bigger deal than what it was? Is it a deal that he announced too early and now is kind of being scrapped? What's going on with this one championship thing? Like, what's happening? Did he lie? Did this man lie completely about this? Because if you lie about shit like this, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why bother? Why would you lie about this? It doesn't, like, who does this serve lying about stuff like this? It's just really odd. So I'm really hoping that it is just a deal that was announced maybe prematurely and they haven't, you know, dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and it is something that will get inked very soon, because I would hate for this to be another fucking lie to add to the catalogue of lies that Brendan has told over the years, because it's just getting ridiculous now, man. He just needs to relax, like relax to the lying. It's not necessary, but, you know, maybe that is part of the thing you need to do when you're coming up in Hollywood, or you're trying to create a little avenue for yourself out there in the entertainment industry. You know what I mean? You got to embellish on things and make it make some sense. But let's see. Let's fucking see. Let's continue. Oh, yeah, this is hilarious. So obviously, I think I've mentioned here a few times that it really does start to annoy me when you see these comedians try to whip up, manufacture, or basically create controversy out of nothing, or try to make it seem as if the higher ups, society at large, mainstream media, haters, trolls are after them in a way. They try to create this kind of adversarial environment around them. Like they're kind of like they're basically slaying dragons in some way, shape, or form, right? Comedians do it especially a lot, especially when it comes to being cancelled. They talk about cancel culture so much, all the time. Cancel, 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 cancel. I hope somebody one day could make a search engine bot or something that could look through and scan through comedy podcasts, so you can search for the like words that are said a lot. And I'd imagine cancel or cancel culture, something along those kind of likeness will definitely be far up there. And the funny thing I mentioned before in the start of the podcast is that they all talk about cancel culture. They talk about, you know, whatever it may be. But when it comes to them, when it comes to cancel culture affecting one of their friends or somebody within their circle, suddenly they all clam up, they all shut up, they all hide, they all bury their heads in the sand, and they have nothing to say. So, you know, the irony is not lost on me. But I thought this clip and this tweet, courtesy of Whitney Cummings' Twitter account, was fairly funny because it was so blatant and obvious that she was trying to be a victim. She was trying to court controversy and trying to get herself cancelled under the false impression that that was somehow going to bolster her career and get her more famous, which it maybe would have worked in the past. But nowadays, people are so over cancel culture and so bored of it, because for the most part, if you've got a decent enough following online, you can never be cancelled anyway, right? So that strategy doesn't work anymore. That way doesn't work. Or being cancelled. If you want to actually cancel somebody, you have to maybe take away their ability to actually make money. But in terms of them not having a career, in terms of not maybe having fans, if you have fans, you're basically cancel proof. And you know, most of these comedians, especially in the LA comedy podcast scene, most of them have successful podcasts, which means they have a lot of fans and they have a lot of views on YouTube, they have a lot of subscribers and stuff, so they can't really be cancelled. They might not have commercial success again, like Bryan Callen in terms of Hollywood, but they're still going to have a career. So for Whitney Cummings to tweet what she tweeted here and say, if this R. Kelly joke doesn't get me cancelled, I don't know what will, is a little bit insane because you're Whitney Cummings. You're, number one, you're rich, you know, off your own back, off your own hard work. Number two, you come from a wealthy background anyway, so it's hard for you to get cancelled. It's not like you're going to be working in Starbucks anytime soon. And number three, also, to try to garner cancellation off the back of an R. Kelly joke, a guy who's been convicted and who's in prison, serving federal time for the crimes that he's committed, is insane. Because what? It's the equivalent of like trying to get cancelled off the back of making a Tiger King joke or something. It's like so dead. So dead. But let's play a little bit of the clip now and see what she has to say.
But the good thing about dating older guys is that every now and then you get to listen to R. Kelly by accident. Because they didn't hear about it. Okay, Yahoo News or whatever didn't cover that story. Oh, wow, you're gonna try to be woke with me? Newark? You sure? You're gonna try to tell me when the R. Kelly Ignition remix comes on and it's not your fault that isn't a gift from...
Okay, I'm done. I can't do this. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck. I'm done. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, you get the point. And then, of course, she got absolutely torched in the replies. People were absolutely destroying it in the replies. Look at the replies people get. It's fucking incredible. I love it. We were saying, this person said, please, bro, cancel me. Please write a tweet about me. Please, bro. I need it so I can go on tour called Silenced or some bullshit. Please cancel me, bro. It's my only source of material. Please just flame me in the quote retweets, bro. Don't get it. I'm so cancelled. Lies. And I put all her press photos for the others disposed. No person reply, just keep writing your own material. The career will cancel itself. Honestly, it's so good. More replies. Let's go. Let's keep going. But it's funny to see people finally turning. It's good to see. What's happening here? In general, it's good to see people finally waking up to this tactic, because it's becoming really annoying. This whole like I'm getting cancelled thing. People are after me. One of the main people that does this a lot nowadays, especially recently, was been flipping Andrew Schultz. Every other day on his Instagram, he's fucking talking about someone. If it's not someone being hacked, it's Instagram took this down. There's always somebody is trying to fight against in order to bolster his career and be able to pay attention to stuff he's doing, and it's fucking annoying. Really is annoying. Another one here. I just want to live in a world where comedians primarily focus on being funny again, instead of wanting to desperately to be some sort of anti-work counterculture reactionary that insist on pushing the boundaries even though no one asks them or even cares. Exactly. So yeah, it didn't land that well. Whitney Cummings got absolutely flamed in the comments, as she should have, because it was a redacted comment and joke to make anyway. It's R. Kelly, man. It's not really gonna... I mean, no one fucking gives a shit. It really doesn't. But hey, we move. Next one. Oh, I thought this joke was really insanely good, actually. One of the rare funny comedians within that LA podcasting community extended universe is definitely Mark Normand. I'm definitely a fan of his. And he kind of whipped out a real good zinger when Whitney Cummings was on his podcast. I thought this is a really funny little clip, actually. Let's play it.
They could see how you program them. And there was one time this guy that I was like, do not ever answer this. Like, he was just like a morass of just like nightmare. He would just like suck you in like a vampire. And
that doesn't have the roller though. Get the roller up.
Get the roller.
I literally wrote like loser/ do not pick up.
Oh.
Like, I'm 22 and I'm like, this is when he calls, I'm gonna see that.
You said we weren't gonna talk about Schaub. Come on.
I mean, I would never call him. I don't want to burst his cauliflower ear.
There's your roller. All right.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, people should ask Whitney anyway in general. Like, but if she has a Q&A, people should ask her like, why haven't you been on the Fire and the Kid? What's going on over there? Eh? Why aren't you going on the Fire and the Kid? Why aren't you hanging out with your best friends in comedy? People that you're meant to be really, really close with, your boys. Why aren't you on their show? Are they bad for business? I wonder why. Oh, mate. Next clip I want to play here quickly was this one. This is an old clip featuring Eric Griffin and Stevie Weeby. The person who I think in this whole, again, it's over, it's done. This whole like Bobby Lee, Kalila, Brendan love triangle nonsense thing. But I honestly think Stevie Weeby got away with fucking murder. Because if you listen to the story, especially when they explain, they reveal more behind the scenes stuff. From what Bobby Lee said, Stevie Weeby is the one that kind of started it, the whole thing. Because he was the one that was talking shit about Kalila, right? Saying that she's a gold digger and stuff. And he was spreading that information to, I guess, Brendan Schaub's side of things, which I guess is what made her, or let's say like, not to put words in their mouth, but imagine if like someone starts saying someone's a slag. Do you know what I mean? You start to diminish what that woman looks like. So then just to wonder like, why are these guys coming at me thinking I'm a slag? And so, because these guys are talking about me like I'm a slag. So Stevie Weeby literally got away with murder, I think, because he was definitely had way more part to play in that whole thing, you know, evolving into what it evolved in than really led to be. But, you know, wherever, it's not my business. But I thought this clip was interesting because in general, I find it really interesting and really funny how most of these comedians seem to be really incapable of reading or listening to any sort of negative criticism, or even if it's constructive. Anything that isn't sucking them off, they seem to get really like shook up about, and it seems to really fuck with their mental to the point where they start to say, I can't check social media, I can't read comments, I don't go online. Like, they seem to be really scared and worried about what people have to say, especially if it's not good things, which I don't understand really, because I feel as if like the comments online are just comments, just people talking. They're always going to be 50-50 for the most part. And I think even for me personally, I think for the most part, for the majority of it, most of these guys, especially their comments or their fans that are following them, they're mostly fans who like what they do. So it doesn't really matter if people have some bad things to say. The fact that they're watching and listening to what you do, and they give you the ability to support your family, you know, by basically telling dick jokes on stage, that should be good enough, right? You shouldn't necessarily give a fuck that people are saying mean things, because the privilege that you have to have that career and to earn the money that they do earn, even though a lot of it is to do with their own hard work and talent, I get it, but the fact that you've been chosen by the fans to be like, here, you have a career, it's still a good thing. It's still, that should say a lot. But this clip shows you that these guys all have a very fragile temperament, because Stevie basically refuses to read stuff on Reddit because Reddit's a big bad wolf. Which is ironic because, you know, Bobby Lee was accused of running T-Fat-K for, you know what I mean?
He finds the one troll and be like...
one thing I promised myself I will never do, I'm not going to go on Reddit.
Yeah, you can't go on Reddit. Even though...
Because, let me tell you something, you won't be happy.
Yeah, no one would be happy if you go to Reddit.
At all. But let's stay with the positive.
Listen.
Yeah.
I respect Reddit trolls because Steve finds...
I don't like the fact that they describe everybody who comments on Reddit or has a Reddit account or leaves comments in general, it's a troll. If you're not sucking up to them, like if you're not asking them, how's your kids? Are you there for dinner? All this sort of nonsense. Can I be on your show? Can you sign my boob? Suddenly, if you just have constructive criticism to say, like, I don't know, I didn't like your show, I didn't think you were funny, waste of money, whatever it may be, like, why is everyone that comments on Reddit a troll? Or why is all of Reddit some sort of platform or bastion for hate, which it isn't? There's plenty of subreddits that exist where there are fans of the show who laugh at the jokes that the person's making, who clip up interesting, funny clips from the show, who maybe share some interesting, you know, tidbits that they know of the person from behind the scenes, cool interactions they've had with them. Like, there's loads of subreddits that exist. It's not like all the subreddits are hate filled. It's just this weird defense mechanism they seem to have to kind of make them not deal with the fact that some people might not like what they have to say. Do you know what I mean? It's a strange thing. I really don't understand it. It's really bizarre. I find it really, 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 really bizarre because I feel like they're missing out a lot as well. Because I feel like as a comedian too, there's not a lot of inputs that you can kind of get to kind of understand or maybe glean as to where maybe your career isn't going well or not. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're on stage. Maybe you might tell yourself, oh, this joke didn't work because of this crowd and stuff. So maybe there's not many points. No, what I want to say, basically, you have to increase your input points. That's what I want to say. Your feedback input points. So if you've got people leaving comments online, that should just add to the input points that you have in terms of figuring out how to get better at what you do. Why wouldn't you want to check Reddit? Like, there's a flipping base of like thousands of people here talking and bickering and arguing back and forth about what you do. That should be a great resource to kind of pull from. Not checking it all the time, don't get me wrong. You can't get too caught up in the comments, but you should be having an idea of what people are saying, of how you come across, of how this was received, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that they're just like, oh, Reddit, they get all scared and hide behind Joe Rogan stuff is really strange, very, very bizarre. I think only Joe Rogan's got the excuse of maybe he shouldn't check social media because he's too big. At that level, you shouldn't check social media because, you know, you'll get too far down in the weeds and you start losing yourself and you won't concentrate on your actual work. You should have somebody that should maybe let you know what maybe people are saying, but you shouldn't be yourself on there checking all the comments and stuff. No, that's crazy. But if you're one of these guys, you should have an idea of what your friends think about you. You should know generally what they thought of the last show, what they thought of this controversial opinion that you had to share. Do they agree with you or not? Do they think? I mean, whatever. You should have a general idea of what's happening, but they just don't want to know. They would rather just if it's not positive, I don't want to know. It's like such an infantile way to look at things, personally, for me. What people saying here? Blah blah blah. They can do no wrong in their mind, says someone. Marty Moose says PF Chang's has 80,000 members. Imagine if Schaub started stealing Chang's material for his show. Mate, if Brendan stole a few of the jokes on subreddit and put them on the stage, he'd actually be really funny. Really, really funny. For sure funny, because some of the guys in that subreddit are hilarious, man. Sonny says, I think it's talking about Collider, right? She's manipulative and a user, but loves him too, but not mutually exclusive, complicated, very toxic. THUK says, Casino looks like a black riffraff. I love it for real. Thank you, sir. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult, but I'll take it regardless. It's funny you're saying that I look like a black riffraff, innit? When riffraff is someone is a guy, a white guy trying to cosplay as a black guy. That's funny, innit? I love riffraff though. What people saying here, Marty? Yeah, let's move on. Marty Boo says, what's this person? Who's that? Edler36. So funny there's a live stream hating on Brendan. Now we don't hate on Brendan, we just laugh at all the funny things those guys at LA stand-up podcasting scene do. Not specifically hating on Brendan. Schaub said, Martin Moose said, Schaub's too thin-skinned to lean into it and be successful. If Rogan doesn't do it, Schaub won't do it. Of course, if Rogan started to be the comments man and the Reddit man, Brendan would definitely turn into that as well. You just need somebody more successful, more rich than him to do it, and he'll suddenly start doing it. David Kingsbury said, PF Chin, dude, see how much the compliments Chin lately. He's scared. PF Chin, dude. See how much compliment. I don't know what do you mean by that, David Kingsbury? I don't get that comment. Let's move on. What was it? What's everyone talking about here? Yeah, this is the okay. Do you guys remember this video? I want to play. Do you guys remember this? Hey, big up William Lipscomb. I appreciate you. Thanks for the love. This video always makes me bust up. Always makes me laugh because this was legitimately when I said, okay, I understand now why Brendan's successful. Because he's legitimately delusional. And he's legitimately divorced from reality and has no self-awareness. This is why he's successful. Because I ultimately do think those are the core ingredients, the secret ingredients actually you need to be successful online. Like in terms of having a presence online, whether you want to be an influencer, a content creator, whatever. You have to be delusional to the point where people start wondering if you actually have a brain. And this was one of the clips that really solidified it for me. At the end of the Schaub show, Chin surprised Brendan with a compilation video from all his friends congratulating him on the release of his comedy special that he put out recently, The Gringo Pappy. Now, these videos usually work when it's a monumental thing that you put together. Like, I don't know, you sold out a really big arena. Maybe there was a story attached to the special where you're maybe, on the brink of giving up, but then you decided to do it, and then that's why you do it. I mean, there has to be like there has to be some sort of conflict attached to this to make these compilations work. There has to be some sort of conflict or a real crazy level of success to make these compilations work, because if not, they always come across a little bit cringy, a little bit like, ew, you got your friends to basically tell you how happy they are with you, how much they thought you were amazing and stuff. That's not really, it doesn't make any sense. So this video is funny because essentially all his friends congratulate him for just releasing a video online and putting it on YouTube. And then he starts to cry like a baby. And it legitimately is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Good luck and congratulations.
Brendan Schaub, it's your boyfriend, Jeff Dye. Very proud of you, buddy. 2 specials. I've got 0. You already have 2. That just shows that you're a better worker, and you're funnier, and you're better. And stronger, and you can beat people up, and more handsome. Well, actually, I'll take handsome. But anyways, I'm proud of you. I love you, brother. Go crush it. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully I'll watch it with you. Good work.
What's up, Big B? Damn, I got dandruff? Dang, boy. That shit is big, too, huh? Looks like my dandruff has been doing coke, boy. What's up,
What would make somebody close their eyes and cry more when Theo Vaughn starts making the riffing joke about having dandruff on his shirt that looks like coke? What would make you want to cry some more? Honestly, this is legitimately one of the most hilarious videos I've ever seen in my entire life. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. It didn't make any sense. And again, let's be charitable. Maybe there is some conflict attached to it because he was working hard. He felt like everyone was counting him out, blah, blah, blah. But to release a comedy special on YouTube and then start crying about it is legitimately insane. Like, it legitimately is insane. Insane.
Player, I'm at my grandmother's house right now, but just chilling, man. About to grill up some oysters, actually. Just wanted to say what's up. Oh, wanted to say this, man. Congratulations on the special, baby. Way to get it done, baby.
Theo even forgot what the point of the video was. Maybe it's a joke, but maybe this makes sense if you I don't know, you got like a glowing review in the New York Times. Rolling Stone said it was a must-watch comedy special. Okay, fair enough. But just the fact that you released it, oh man, honestly, this guy is legitimately one of the most interesting human beings I've ever come across in my entire life. And I just wanted to play it out. I've already seen it before. I just wanted to quickly mention it because it just popped up in my mind again. But I thought that was legitimately one of the most insane things I could see. The guy was legitimately blubbering, like bogey running down his nose and shit, like legitimately sobbing at the sight of his friends congratulating him that he uploaded the video on YouTube. Oh, honestly, the gift that keeps on giving, man. The gift that keeps on giving. To continue here, yeah, question for the chat. Question for the chat. I asked it before about, the Joe Rogan thing. Do you have a friend in your social group? A person that you would happily go and pick up from the airport, a person you would drop off from the airport, a person you would maybe help move, a person you would maybe unload furniture for, a person that you would pick up a washing machine with, a person you would pick up a fridge with, just a person that you would do just like menial tasks for and just generally be for them at their beck and call. Do they exist? A friend of yours? Do they exist? Cool. If they do exist, I'm assuming that's a friend you've known for since you were 5. Maybe, their parents and your parents are really close. Maybe they're, somebody that you just be in a relationship with and you just become real good friends now. But there's some relation. There's like a core. There's like a depth to the friendship. There's a depth to it. There's like a time to it. There's like an experience to it, right? Life experience to it, right? Many things have happened between like this depth. meat behind it. No homo. Yes, homo. So that makes me think to myself, how in the world could a grown adult, right, willingly travel around the country with somebody they've only met the last, 4 years, 3 years, and be happy to just be tagging along, not doing comedy, just tagging along, just hanging around with them, right? Not doing the comedy thing, and just carrying around boxes of Diet Coke for them. Like, who does that? For someone you just met in your early 40s? I don't know how old this guy is. What is he, 40, 30? I don't know. He could be 52. He could be 60. I don't know how old the guy is, right? His body says 27. His face says 69. But whatever. What kind of person have you met with 4 years? It's like equivalent to meeting somebody at your job and them telling you, hey, I'm doing a show. Would you mind carrying a couple of boxes of Diet Coke for me, please? Just to carry them around. Like, what? And I think this might be an LA thing, right? Because clearly this guy's been trying to have a career in the entertainment industry for a while, hasn't worked out to the point that he would like it to work out. And maybe the fact that he's met Brendan and he's been pretty nice to him in terms of giving him an opportunity to come on a show, giving him a show on Thick Boy, and just generally having him around, he basically feels like he owes Brendan a lot because this is the first time he's actually got some headway in the industry by being associated with Brendan, clearly. But I just can't see ever in my life, even some of my closest friends, I don't see a world where I would be happy to carry boxes of Diet Coke for my friends as they just sit and soak in the rays. It's one thing if, I don't know, you've also got some bags, but the fact that Brendan's just sitting on the side of a curb waiting for his shows to start or whatnot, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe just hanging out. But I just can't. Unless I'm reading it wrong, and these are actually his cans of Coke. But I get the feeling, judging by some clips I've seen of Brendan, Diet Coke has become his new whiskey, right? Or maybe, I don't know who he's copied it from. I guess he read some story or interview of some comedian that drinks Diet Coke and that has become his new thing. But something's happened. Diet Cokes have been introduced as a new trendy thing. But I'm assuming they're Brendan Schaub stuff. I just can't picture a flipping scenario in my head where I'm carrying Diet Coke boxes for my friends while they sat on the curb wearing, flowery shorts and having a flipping ice cold, what's the thing called? What are they called? A cold brew, and just chilling and soaking in the rays. Because that's what it looks like. It's like he's sunbathing and just having a whale of a time, while he has to carry around, boxes of flipping Diet Coke. It's such an LA thing. It really is. Grown adults subjecting themselves to this level of treatment. It really is an LA thing. Especially when you consider this man is older than Brendan. He's older than Brendan and he's acting like fucking Brendan's his OG. It's like, I don't know, man. I could never do shit. Again, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I understand it, but I don't know, man. I just find it fucking hilarious. Just boxes of Diet Coke around for the man. It's like, have you no shame? Honestly, do you have absolutely no shame? Or maybe he doesn't see it as a big deal. It's my friend. I'll do anything for my friends. But some people find it hard to even drop off their friends at airports, to pick them up at airports, to help them moving. Actual friends. Imagine going around the country with them as they go and perform stand-up and you're just carrying... I don't know. I could never. It can never be me. It can never be me. Marty Moose, why is it blurred out? This is a picture from the Fire and the Kids subreddit. They always blur out BGL's face because they feel like he's an attention whore and a blowhard and I guess whatever else they think he is. So in an effort to kind of troll him and not give him any attention, they blur out his face on all the pictures and shit. Or they'll put emojis of a lion in it. It's fucking hilarious. Because clearly he tried to use the subreddit to kind of get some clout as well, and that sub is really tight with that. They don't like that at all. You can't go on there and try to use them to get clout or to promote yourself. So they just they just flipped the script and basically said, nah, you don't get no clout from us. They cover his face with an emoji and shit and just maybe make him like an idiot. Moving on. What's I'm talking about here? Another clip. What else to talk about? There's not much else to go for. Like I said, it's a bit dry on the comedy front. Everything's kind of been spoken about, or too much time has passed. Let's check this out. Let's see this clip. This one might be funny. This title is something about Mike Tyson. So let's see what this is about. I haven't watched this.
How many you guys want?
Just give us one more.
Well, let me. Okay, here I have one here. Mike Tyson thinks he's going to die really soon.
I think we all do.
Mike Tyson believes at all times that his fate is imminent. On his podcast, Hot Box with Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight boxing champ had therapist Sean McFarland, who specializes in trauma and addiction, on as a guest and told him he feels he's inching closer to death. We're all going to die one day, of course, Tyson said. Then, when I look in the mirror, I see those little spots on my face. I say, wow, that means my expiration date is coming close really soon.
Yeah, we're like bananas. Humans are bananas. You get a couple brown spots.
Yeah, he's also on shrooms every day. So like that, as you were saying
There's
before.
that, but he's also lived a rough life.
Yeah.
I think all big guys think we're going to die early, but I do as well. But I do find it curious, like how would you say it? How Joe Rogan has changed the podcast game. Because think about it, Joe has all these people on, right? And it's all like you learn stuff like that. Like, I don't think Mike Tyson's having a therapist on if Rogan didn't kind of set that platform for these interesting conversations. Like he's such a leader in the industry where people are like, oh, I want to
long-form conversation.
A fighter and a therapist.
What the fuck? How did Brendan manage to fucking shoehorn Joe Rogan's name into that conversation? Oh my fucking God. If ever there was an example that these guys suck Joe Rogan's dick way too much, this is it. How cringe and embarrassing. They're talking about Mike Tyson, which is a pretty decent topic, right? Mike Tyson talking about how he feels like his death is imminent, right? It's pretty dark. It's pretty introspective. It's pretty interesting to kind of riff off of, or riff off the back off of, whatever it may be. Brendan starts off pretty well, talking about, yeah, big guys have that thing, maybe lived a rough life. And then you automatically go into Joe Rogan sucking off. Now, me personally, I know why this is. I think it's because clearly he knows that Mike Tyson doesn't like him. And if you guys are aware, you guys should know that during that stream that Brendan did for the Super Bowl, I think it was, the iconic stream that he got caught flipping, handing that note to that girl. During that show, he was doing the, obviously, stream with Mike Tyson and some other guys, I forgot their names, Daniel Cormier and some other NFL dude. And throughout the entire show, it felt like Tyson and him were having a bit of friction. And there was a moment where I think Brendan was basically making some jokes at Tyson's expense, and there was an instance where Tyson gets up and basically walks over to where Brendan is on the couch and puts his foot on the table and kind of like puts himself in front of Brendan, like kind of like tries to stun him with his presence, and just starts eating his nuts, staring at him. And Brendan's pretending like he can't see Mike Tyson's in front of him, basically trying to out alpha him. And I think that might be because before Brendan had Mike Tyson on his Food Truck Diaries, he said many disparaging things about Mike Tyson, like how he doesn't rate him, he think he's overrated, like just trying to be controversial. And then, of course, once he got the opportunity to have Mike Tyson on his show, he started sucking him off. I think somebody in Mike Tyson's camp must have showed him that compilation of Brendan saying loads of bad things about him before he interviewed him, and then how he sucked him off. And then when they went and sat down for that NFL show, or for that Super Bowl show, that was the first time he saw him since that video, or since his interview. So clearly he knew he didn't like him. So clearly he knew Brendan Schaub was talking shit about him and basically made it known that he didn't like him either. So I think since then, Brendan also knows that Mike Tyson doesn't like him. So that's why he's doing this kind of weird, passive-aggressive, trying to like sun Mike Tyson by completely switching the topic and talking about Joe Rogan, because that makes no sense. You can't be talking about that clip. That clip just makes no other sense otherwise. Or maybe it's just him just loving Rogan that much. But yeah, what people say in the comments here. Mike Tyson has aged better than Ali, Fraser, and Holyfield. It's actually better mentally than now this is fighting. Of course, I agree with that, Marty Moose. The robot says Joe said that first, Brendan then repeated it about Tyson not being that great. Okay, yeah, exactly. Of course. Let's continue here. What we're saying, David Kingsbury says $2.27.99. Oh wow, thank you, man. Massive contribution. Thank you, bro. I agree.
Also watch the Schaub show. He bumbles and mumbles, but has good guest tons for you to rip apart.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, I do my due diligence. I only spoke about that. Thanks for the donation, bro. I really appreciate it. Really do. Thank you so much. I only spoke about that clip concerning people thanking Brendan after the show because I just remembered it and I thought it was funny. I did see it when it came out. I'm pretty sure I have a clip of it on my channel when I reacted when it first came out. So it's not the first time I've seen it. But I just saw it again. Sorry, I just remembered it again recently and I wanted to just laugh at it again. But yeah, I'm on that subreddit all the time, mate. I'm on it literally every day. So I see every bit of content concerning this guy all the time. And unfortunately for me in this show, there's not been much juicy things to actually laugh at and rip at. Some of the stuff has just been a bit like, whatever. What's the next clip here? Talk about this one. Yeah, talk about this one. Let's do this. This one might be a good one. Let's talk about this one. So this is some interesting developments courtesy of Brendan Schaub regarding what's developments. Yeah, interesting developments courtesy of Brendan Schaub regarding, him and his friends. What happened there? Come on, let's load normally, please. There we go. Get up on screen again. Bish bash bosh. Play.
I'll have some news for you as far as the old school fight pan goes too, with Mr. Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, Bryan Callen, myself. But yeah.
Never seen him smile that hard for anybody else apart from Joe Rogan. So it seems like what he's hinting at is that potentially the old school fight companion on Joe Rogan's podcast may be coming back with Eddie Bravo, with the original crew, which is Bryan Callen, Eddie Bravo, and Joe Rogan, which would be quite interesting to be fair, especially considering what's happened since they stopped doing it. A lot of things have changed. People have got richer. People have got cancelled. Loads of things have happened since that time. So it'll be a really interesting to see and listen or hear that podcast when it does eventually come out. Because unfortunately for Brendan, his fight companion, it doesn't even come close to how good Joe Rogan's fight companion was when it was out at the time. Unfortunately for Brendan too, he's way more unlikable now. I think back then he wasn't as unlikable, so people didn't mind him on that show. He was actually quite well liked on there. He actually came across pretty funny. But now he's so unlikable. I'm not too sure how that. Maybe actually it might have the opposite effect. Maybe he might actually be a bit more relaxed and chill and actually down to clown, and people might like him on that show. Maybe because he's around his friends. I don't know. But interesting development nonetheless. So the fight companion on Joe Rogan's podcast may be coming back very, very soon. And clearly they're all happy about it. It'd be good to see Eddie Bravo again, to be fair. I'm a big fan of Eddie Bravo. It's actually a sad thing that as a consequence of maybe the attack or the potential cancellation of Rogan earlier on with all that ivermectin stuff and Brendan going through his stuff and Callen going through his stuff and Chris Lee going through his stuff, I felt like Eddie Bravo purposely decided, you know what, I'm removing myself from the internet and kind of backed away. So I would love to hear him back on the internet again because I think that fucking crazy guy was amazing on podcast. He was such great value. And I actually enjoyed his fucking conspiracy theories rants because he was so good at doubling and tripling down. I think that really does make for good podcasting. People who have insane opinions and don't budge. Like, I think those make for really funny, good podcasts. I swear to God. I think they're flipping amazing. I really, really do. Let's continue here. What is it? David Kingsbury. If you've got any suggestions in terms of clips I should check out, I would highly recommend sending them through. If you are on Discord or if you want to join Discord, I would recommend doing so. I have an invite link to my Discord group in the descriptions. Please join the Discord and throw any suggestions you have on there. and I'll definitely check them out because I'll obviously not be able to remember everything people are saying in the chat and stuff. So if you have any suggestions or stuff I should check out, please send it to me via the Discord, and I'll definitely check them out. But that clip sounds interesting. I'd love to react to it. So if you have any clips or stuff I should check out, then please send them in the Discord, and I'll definitely react to them because I've seen people do it before. So definitely join the Discord if you can. Join the Discord if you can. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's see another clip here I want to check out. Let's see another one. Where is it? Yeah, this is really good. You see this? Someone put this together on the Fire the Kid subreddit. I thought this is fucking hilarious. This is an edit of obviously Brendan crying when all his friends are congratulating him about his comedy special. The Stranger Kid could sing that well. Well, I'm doing a Brendan. I didn't know that Stranger Kid's kid could sing that well. He's got an incredible voice, to be fair, but that's absolutely incredible. Honestly, really fucking good. What a good fucking meme. Big up whoever put that together on the Fire the Kid subreddit. Absolutely powerful stuff, man. Like I said, he has the best detractors ever. They're really up there in terms of the level of content they're able to put out. The creativity around it is absolutely god level, man. That was so fucking good. Oh man, I still can't get. This clip is hilarious too. I'm going to stop on it. Can I get it? Hold on. One sec. I'm already laughing there because I can see the title. One sec. Let me put the video back to the start. Big up Borrachina's Depot on Twitter. I'm sure most of you guys follow this account already, but Borrachina's Depot on Twitter, honestly, is fucking incredible. Some of the clips they get from the Friday Kids subreddit, some of them they put themselves and they kind of create their own little compilations and little memes. But I thought this was absolutely hilarious. And it says as follows in a tweet. Curtis Blade's nickname is Blades because it rhymes with his last name. And this is Brendan Schaub saying it on his show, The Schaub Show. And honestly, even me, right, being a UFC, what do they call it? A casual, right? Even me being a casual fan and only watching the really big fight cards and not really watching the prelims and kind of, following only the big names, all that sort of nonsense, right? Even I would assume that Curtis Blade's nickname being Blades would be something to do with fucking the way he fucking, strikes or his elbows, right? The way he kind of cuts people up and shit. That's what I'd assume his names would be, Blades. I would assume his nickname, obviously it's a double kind of, it's handy and it's kind of cool that he's got, his surname is also Blades, but I would assume his actual fight name being Blades is something to do with him inflicting violence and him being cutting up people. But Brendan doesn't seem to think so.
And Curtis Blades is only getting better because Curtis Blades, he's starting to put together the striking with the wrestling. Now, Curtis Blades, his nickname is Blades for a reason because his elbow is his ground and pound, and also he rhymes with his last name. And Curtis Blades is only getting better because Curtis Blades, he's starting to put together the striking with the wrestling. Now, Curtis Blades, his nickname is Blades for a reason because his elbow is his ground and pound, and also he rhymes with his last name.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd be comfortable if I was getting paid to cover a sport and I was regarded as a professional in it, and people looked at me like as being some sort of oracle, no, or people look to me as an authority figure in the sport, I wouldn't be comfortable with just saying dumb stuff like that. I would try to pick my words carefully, consider everything I have to say. Like, I wouldn't just want to be blurting out stuff just for the sake of it. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. His blades. Honestly, man, I love that guy. Honestly, man, he's fucking incredible. He really is the best when it comes to that sort of stuff. He really is the best. Oh, I can't for life of me work out why he does it. I really cannot work out why he does it. But I think that might be the end of the show. I don't really have much more to talk about here. What else are here? Let me see the other clips here. Nothing else. Here it is. Yeah, like I said, it's a bit dry out there now in terms of funny stuff to riff on. Not gonna lie. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it for there at the time being. Like I said, there's not much more to riff on in terms of dryness in the comment scene. I think I might explain why I haven't been streaming as regularly, but still I've got to stay on it. But thanks anyway, people, for checking me out. It's been a pleasure and really has been great to be back in the hot seat. I forgot how fun these streams are in general, just to chat some shit and connect with you guys, my friends, because I don't have any real friends, as people like to say in the comments all the time, as a derogatory statement or something, but I embrace that shit. Big up the no friends gang. Big up everyone that's tuning in. Honestly, it's been a pleasure to have your company. I would really appreciate if you enjoyed the stream and you like what I do, that you could smash the like button for me. If you liked what I had to say and you want to come back and check out more stuff, why not hit subscribe? If you want to check out my podcast that I do, also, you can check that out. It's called The Agostino Zinga Show. It's available on all podcast platforms. It's called The Agostino Zinga Show. I talk about other stuff, not really concerning comedy. Everything else from like culture to fashion to music to sneakers to just stuff going on in the news, you'll find on The Agostino Zinga Show. I also have a Patreon that I'm not really promoting too much because I haven't updated it in months. But if you want to check out my Patreon and support that, then please support that. I'm going to try and put some content together for that as well going forward. The random show is going to be more regular now. I'm going to probably do one tomorrow. I'm probably going to do one again the next day and probably do one when I'm in Berlin, obviously to continue raising funds for the Berlin Beer Fund. So if you want to contribute to the Berlin Beer Fund and you want to see me get wasted on stream, actually that's what I might do. I might actually do a stream from Berlin and just drink all night on it. That might be funny, and see if I can replicate what Unique does, because I still don't understand why that man gets on stream and drinks as much as he does. Like, it's fucking incredible. Like, he's absolutely psychotic. But I may actually do the same thing in Berlin. So if you want to see me get wasted in Berlin and whatnot, then contribute to the Berlin Beer Fund and I'll drink as much as possible on stream and see how crazy I can get and what nonsense we can get up to live on stream. And I'll do that obviously for the entertainment of you lovely people. But regardless, it's been a pleasure to have you here as viewers. Big up everybody else in the chat. Big up Jack, big up Martin Moose, big up DBA, big up David Kingsbury, big up William Lipscomb, big up Daniel Joseph, big up MGI, everyone that's been contributing, everyone has sent a super chat, big up Amy, big up MD, Mad Solar, big up Exorcist, big up Robbins on Rob77, everybody that's contributed and hang out, I really do appreciate you. Big up C Phoenix, of course, can't forget you, big up Jack Cole, big up everybody that's hanged out, I really do appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys again very soon as per usual. Timestamps will be available hopefully in a couple of hours. I'll do that, and then you can also check out the timestamps. I'll put the clips up on my channel and shit. But yeah, until next time, my friends, take